Separated by the Salish Sea, connected by the Rio Graps in BC. This is the Cup Check Wrestling Podcast with Aaron Schultz and Corey Ace Trelaw.
Cup Check Wrestling Podcast with Aaron Schultz and Corey Ace Trelaw, recovering from being boots on the ground for AEW Dynasty in Vancouver, BC at the Rogers Arena. I felt like I had a lot of recovering to do to get my sleep schedule back on track, but Ace, it sounds like you're actually doing some honest-to-God recovering. What's your situation right now?
Yeah, so today, as we record this, it is the Thursday. We were there Sunday night. And I just noticed that, if you can't tell from my voice, I've just noticed that I got a bit of a bug. I started noticing it about a day or two ago. So hopefully it doesn't last too much longer. But Brooke made me slam a vitamin C this morning, so we're doing better. But yeah, no, it was nice to kind of have a couple days to recover. Or sorry, I should say it would have been nice to have a couple days to recover. But it's exam period. So I just came from my last one. So now the semester's over. So we'll see how the grades come in. But I'm looking forward to the summer and a little bit more time for cup check, a bit more time for work. Yeah, no, it's pretty exciting time.
Yep, we're not going outside in this household. We are staying right here and watching wrestling from dawn to dusk, especially at those late sunsets. Okay, so get a vitamin C in you, but also get an emergency or an Energy, whatever the hell those like little powdered drink things are. Get a vitamin D in your system. Get a zinc as well. Do everything to get that out of your system.
I thought you said a Zin at first.
Oh, maybe a lip pillow too if you're feeling up for it. If you feel like you need to smoke again, but no, get a zinc with a C at the end. It's like it probably means vitamin C, the end of zinc. I don't know. I just made that shit up. But no, you getting sick right after a wrestling show. I don't know. It doesn't do us all well, Ace. Us wrestling fans, we have a reputation of maybe not being the most hygienic. And you and I, we want to ensure that we were as clean and fresh as possible before the show. And here you are, sick. I'm going to choose to blame the neckbeards of the world. I don't know.
Well, it was funny. I did last time, actually, I didn't even think of it till just this second. Last time I went to a AEW show, I came back from Vegas with COVID. So yeah, I don't know if it's something with the AEW crowd. I've told you the story about how I thought I might have given MJF COVID, right? I think I've told you that. I'm sure I've told. Anyways, for those who
it sort of rings a bell. Didn't you see him at the airport or something, or what happened?
Yes, so I was really sick the last day in Vegas, and I spent the whole day in bed. And I left the next day, I think it was a Tuesday, to fly home. And I'm on the Harry Reid? I'm on the escalator going up. And I look in front of me and I notice, it's funny, the little thing, because I noticed the mole on the back of MJF's neck. And I was like, oh, that looks like MJF. And then he like turned his head and I was like, oh shit, that is MJF. So I saw him, he was on the phone. I saw him sit down at a slot machine. And then I was gonna like go say, and then I was like, what are you doing? I was what, 27, 26 at the time. I was like, he doesn't want that. And it's kind of rude. So I just turned around and I left. But it was funny because then like 2 days later, he missed a show because he had COVID. So I always thought, oh, that was the other part of it. When I got home, I was like, fuck, I'm really sick. And I tested and it was COVID. So the story that I've always gone with was that I gave MJF COVID and he maybe gave it back to me because I'm not doing too hot right now.
Or maybe you got MJF sick again, and that's why he's no longer the champion. We'll get to that in just a sec, but it just reminded me of this story too. My interaction with MJF. So I don't know if I ever told you this one, but so I was down in Los Angeles in 2023 for the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view event. MJF was main eventing that night against Jay White. He also appeared at the Collision Rampage live show the night prior, and he was there doing one last big plug. And so I'm trying to get to an Uber. It's at the Kia Forum in LA, so it's just parking lots for days, like a lot of arenas in the United States are. I'm walking across the different other half of the parking lot, I should say, to get my Uber, and I'm looking left. I see some other guy, like a producer, an agent, or someone with who should you guess? But MJF himself, I'm like, holy shit, it's MJF. I've had many beers at this point. I just blurted that out, and he gave the thumbs up and then goes ahead. And then he gets into a car, and then other fans are noticing it. And then they also kind of sort of surround MJF. I whip out my phone. I'm taking like a little selfie video on Snapchat. There is a brief second with both of us in the same frame. And then this guy is the worker to end all workers. There's like maybe 15 people beside his car, but he gets through the sunroof. Hey, W, full gear, be there. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of Jay White, or something like that. So for 15 people who were at fucking Collision and Rampage the night before, he was trying to sell these people who would have been there regardless to go to the pay-per-view. He is a
Hell
worker
yeah.
until the day he dies. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna blame you for MJF maybe not being too well, and that's why he's no longer the champion. And
Yeah.
before Ace and I get into our lore, and we were boots on the ground for Dynasty, had a great weekend. We'll get to that in a sec, but unfortunately, we have a lead to talk about, and I'm really upset that the stars couldn't align, that we couldn't pod earlier in the week because I have a feeling this is going to happen. We have a new AEW Men's World Champion. It's not Kenny Omega, my boy, who was challenging MJF at Dynasty at the pay-per-view event. Darby Allin is the new AEW Men's World Champion. He defeated Andrade El Idolo at Dynasty to become the number one contender. He immediately called his shot for Wednesday Night Dynamite in Everett, Washington, close to his hometown. It was the city where he trained to become a pro wrestler, and he beats MJF to become the world champion for the first time in his career. This day one-ish AEW talent ends the reign of MJF. Ace will get into the nuts and bolts of how it happened, what makes sense, what were your initial reactions seeing that Darby Allin, after all this time, becomes the AEW Men's World Champion and ends MJF's reign.
Yeah, well, now it makes a lot more sense why Omega didn't win on Sunday because I that was one thing where I was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like, and I'm sure we'll get to it in a bit, but just there was for a show in Vancouver, Canada, there was quite a few Canadians losing. So at the end, I was like, oh, like I figured they were all losing, so Kenny can win it.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, makes a lot more sense why he's not. Yeah, Darby Allin is the new world champion. Um, I really liked how they did this because it was interesting how they booked it because it wasn't one of those like I don't think I've seen a bit of discourse where people say this really hurts MJF or this hurts Darby Allin because it makes him look like I don't know. I thought this was really well done because it was Darby capitalizing on MJF, and the story going into it was that he hadn't been on Twitter or anywhere. So, I do, obviously we suspend our disbelief enough, but I did find it a bit funny to think that like never once was it brought up to him. But I digress. Like even a text from a buddy or
He
but
turned
yeah,
his
so
phone
the
off,
story
apparently.
uh,
He went dark, I
yeah.
think. So after they filmed like this segment for social media, and they did show bits of it on the video package on Dynamite, but after MJF defeats Kenny Omega to retain the world championship, Renee Paquette, our girl, great Canadian gal, I always think of her as the star reporter on the score. She's still never WWE or AEW Renee to me, but there she is. She asks MJF, or pardon me, she's going to tell MJF that Darby's going to challenge him on Wednesday, but he goes, I'll be honest with you, I'm going dark on socials, turn my phone off, etc., etc. So I can suspend my disbelief that he and his loving wife, they just did whatever they did in their private vehicle, in their bus, whatever they drive around, and they just made sweet, sweet love on his devil gear and his
Sweet
championship
Love's a
belt
bit
for three
crazy.
days. It's kind of wild, but I wouldn't put anything past this guy. But regardless, as you're saying, yeah, he goes dark, and yeah, he was unprepared for the match. Sorry for cutting you off. I'll let you finish your thought there, but before I give my takes there.
No, no, yeah, but just that was the only thing with it where I was kind of like I don't know, yeah. But anyways, regardless, I thought it was very well done. I thought how they like with the callbacks just for the headlock takeover, Darby capitalizing. I thought it was really well done. I don't think it hurts MJF because he clearly wasn't ready, but it also doesn't make Darby look weak where that's the only way he could beat MJF. I thought it was a really nice moment, hopefully, I'm sure their game plan was to hopefully steal a couple headlines during a very busy wrestling week. And I think they absolutely did that. Again, I am seeing a bit of negative discourse surrounding it, but I don't know. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Like on the negative discourse, I'll say this, like if you asked me my thoughts on if Darby was going to be winning the championship earlier this week after the pay-per-view before the show happened, I'd say I get the idea, wrong place, wrong time. Because every now and then I think you need to do something like this where you have the championship change hands on public television. The last time this was done was back in September 2022. And if you want to talk about planned title changes that doesn't involve CM Punk getting suspended or injured, you'd have to go back to like December 2020 when Kenny Omega won the championship. And so for Darby here, I mean, I guess to make it all make sense with the story, so Darby is calling a shot. He wants the championship shot in Everett on the Wednesday. MJF arrives to the building. MJF gets told by Don Callis that Andrade did not win. MJF is just saying, hey, you owe me one now. And he's still about to go on his day. And Renee Paquette's there. After trying to tell MJF again that Darby is cashing in his shot, she says, Max! And I relate to that. Renee's the best. Did I ever tell you this, Ace? She's just the best at what she does because she's the modern day Gene Okerlund. She's just a person surrounded by these crazy characters, and she reacts how a sane person would. So she yells, tells him the situation and that the match is leading off to it. He's saying, no, 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 on his way to the entrance ramp. And I felt that this title change was going to happen because Darby Allin's fucking bawling his eyes out. He's fucking crying during his entrance, when he's cutting his promo on MJF. It's in his town where he was trained to be a wrestler in front of his family. It meant everything, and he had no poker face whatsoever. And so, I mean this in the best way possible. This whole episode of Dynamite, this whole segment, this whole story, it was straight out of Monday Night Raw. And I mean that in the most endearing way this time, like something like we would watch growing up, like how they lead off with a segment. It's a story that goes from beginning to end throughout the whole 2 hours to keep you following along. And so they talk about the history, how Darby and MJF were near day one-ish kind of persons in AEW. MJF beats him with a side headlock takeover twice. One time after hitting with a Dynamite Diamond Ring, the other time after Darby does a coffin drop onto a belt. But still, that's how he technically won. And so this main event finally happens. Darby's ready. MJF is absolutely not. MJF is going for a Dynamite Ring. Aubrey Edwards, fellow Washington person, grabs the ring. MJF hits him with a low blow. And then eventually, Darby throws MJF into Aubrey. There's no collision, though, but obviously the ref's vision's distracted. Darby hits the low blow. He hits like 4 coffin drops, a side headlock takeover, and he wins in a squash. And this place went wild. So if you want to talk about if the timing was right for Darby Allin, that is debatable. That's fine. If you want to say if this is the right call, that's also fine. We'll see what happens. I don't think that this was a rushed decision because they've had Darby winning for a couple of weeks on TV. He challenged MJF like 2 months ago. He beat Andrade. MJF was clearly concerned with Darby because he was paying the Don Callis family to take care of him. Maybe they missed the peak of Darby. Maybe if he didn't climb Mount Everest, maybe if he didn't get concussed in the Continental Classic, maybe his momentum is still hot. But for this show, it fucking worked. This crowd went wild. They were into it. And I think this is like a moment that you'll see on replays for years and years to come. This was a grand slam home run.
Mrs. Allen's baby boy took care of business.
Yes, exactly. And that's another thing I like. So Tony Khan's like us, Ace. He's a sicko. He's a big wrestling fan. And this has been done many a times. I compare this to Lex Luger defeating Hulk Hogan for the WCW Championship in 1997. So this is the NWO, Hollywood Hogan, Reign of Terror, they're clearly setting up for him to lose to Sting. So Sting can beat Hogan, take the title back, and save WCW from the NWO. And while Darby Allin has a good affiliation with Sting, I don't think he's the Sting for AEW in this case. I don't think he's the one that ends MJF because Lex Luger dropped that belt back 5 days afterwards, but that moment was an all-timer and the fans went crazy. And this is also sort of like you kind of allude to Mankind, like when Mankind beat The Rock on Raw and became the WWF champion. They always say how the man makes the belt and not vice versa, but if you protect the belt enough, sometimes winning the belt can make you the man. And Mankind became the man that night too. And I think even though he's main evented pay-per-views before, you can main event pay-per-views with Darby Allin going forward because he has won the world championship now. And I'm guessing he'll probably be a shorter reign, but I don't think it'll hurt MJF. I don't know if he'll take this belt back ASAP, but I don't think this is the end of MJF. I don't think that it's not like this is going to derail his momentum or his overall dominant reign or whatever. I think this is just clearly a footnote, a little roadblock, if you will. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about how this was all executed. This was brilliant.
Yeah, we'll see. I do think it's going to be one of those shorter ones. Like, honestly, I could even see MJF winning it back home now at Double or Nothing. But I don't know if that hurts the moment. I mean, only time will tell, obviously, with a lot of these kind of things. But even if Darby has it a month and a bit, gives it right back, I think you're right. And then I think it's legitimized him in that sense where he has been champion before. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited about it. I thought it was a really cool moment. Um, yeah, it's kind of what I got to say about that.
Unsung hero of the segment, before we move on, Old Man Sting. Is this guy just not the greatest or what? I mean,
Brooke
he
thought it was Darby's dad.
I can buy that actually. I'm sure that's what they wanted to go for over the last
I'm
couple of years.
sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because like Darby is Sting's tag team partner for his entire AEW run, his entire return to pro wrestling. And so since Sting retired, he's like, I think he's only like maybe made 3 appearances on AEW since he retired. Uh, Ace, I don't know if you know this, but Sting all of a sudden, well, over the last count, I think it was in 2025, he was promoting his, like, his convention appearances, his meet and greets or whatever, as this is the last year that I'm going to put on the Sting face paint, and you can take a picture with me in my face paint because this guy already wanted to call it a career. He has the silver white, like the almost like the completely white hair. He's got the goatee. He is not getting rid of the goatee. He's painting over the goatee, but he has his jacket on and he just looks like, remember like when Harrison Ford became like Han Solo again in the new Star Wars trilogy, and it's like he kind of looks even cooler than he did before. It's like he's got more aura, like he's more grizzled, and he just looked awesome. And I love the way like Stinger would, he's putting Darby over. He's clearly a bigger star all time than Darby. He's Darby's mentor, but Darby's asking backstage on his way to the ring, "Do you have anything for me?" Stain's like, "No, I don't got anything for you. This is your time." And then Darby says, "It's showtime." And then Stain says, "No, it's not showtime. It's your time." He's putting Darby over before he wins his biggest match ever. Yeah, the Stainer rules. And since you mentioned Double or Nothing 2022 as well, this MJF, he likes to call us marks. He likes to call fans dumb marks. I mean this with endearingly. He's the biggest mark to ever mark. His fucking baby blue trunks, first of all, perfect color. Those are the same trunks, or at least the same color he wore when he got squashed by Wardlow at that Double or Nothing show in 2022 that you were at. And it's also similar kind of color to what Ric Flair won when he lost to Sting in 1990 at the Great American Bash. So this fucking guy, he
Which, for
remembered.
context, was 6 years before he was even born. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God. It's like, which is probably like 20 years, a shorter gap than, fans nowadays getting told about Attitude Era stuff on SmackDown. But gosh darn it, MJF took went and learned his history. So yeah, that segment, yeah, that's a home run. I don't know what happens. I know the title change just happened on Wednesday. I have no earthly idea who Darby's defending if it's not MJF. I know they teased Tommaso Ciampa and Kevin Knight wanting to go for the belt now. I don't know if that's a pay-per-view main event. I'm guessing it's either MJF, maybe it's Jon Moxley because he's probably the strongest heel right now, but I'm looking forward to see where this goes. I'm sure this is a plan. There's a plan in place. I don't think this is a spur of the moment decision. I don't think this was a you deserve it reign for Darby. I think there's a plan. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks if this is worth it. But for now, that was a great, great segment on Wednesday for a great episode. And congrats to Darby. I mean, we'll talk about his match at Dynasty. This guy gives it his all, and I'm happy he got rewarded.
Oh yeah.
All right. Talk about the main reason of this podcast now. Ace and I were at AEW Dynasty in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Sure were.
God, I don't even know where to start. So how do I say? Was this the most memorable show I've ever been at? Probably not. It's felt like, as you mentioned, a lot of our Canadians lost. Overall, there was a lot of heat on the show, a lot of villains winning. In a lot of ways, there felt like there were more middle chapters here than definitive ends. That being said, though, that show and more overall that weekend, I think that was probably one of the most fun weekends I've ever had. I just had so much dopamine going through this noggin. That was one of the most fun shows I've ever been to. Ace, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Just your overall experience.
Yeah, honestly, outside of a few questionable booking decisions, yeah, great weekend. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it in a bit here, but just, we ended up going over a little bit early. So just the whole time meeting up with some buddies, really good show. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. I think the aforementioned Double or Nothing was probably still, I don't know, maybe just being in Vegas, my first big show, it might have edged it a little bit. But this is right up there. And we had a really good crew, and that always, makes or breaks the event. So
Mhm. Yeah, it was great. Had a great weekend going into it. Other good wrestling throughout the weekend. I know Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling made the trip overseas to have some shows at Hastings Racecourse and Casino in East Vancouver. Mystery Pro Wrestling has a show there as well. We were unable to attend those shows because, well, we also went down to the lower mainland. Our buddy Tally and his Coquitlam Express were in the BCHL playoffs. They were unfortunately bounced in 5 games. And the day afterwards was not only me sleeping in, not only you and Brooke having a nice day out in Vancouver while Tally still had work to do. It was a bit of a grieving process for the season that was and making sure our buddy was okay and we had some fun as well. But that was nice. Very quickly, so they lost in game 5 in Chilliwack, our Coquitlam Express, right before it was about to go to overtime. You have to bounce because you have George, your new puppy, in your vehicle, and you gotta check on him. And right before the game ends, the Chiefs are making a push on our Express, and you look at me and you smile and go, at like how John Cena gave up to Gunther, as in the letting go, or so it's called. And right after that, a shot goes right through the goaltender, but through the other side. And we cackled so hard, like, oh my God, I can't believe that Ace almost called it. And then
I
they
saw
had
the
like
writing on the wall.
chances. And then they had 3 more chances. And then it did go to overtime, but the Express did let go in overtime. And
They did.
I just sent you a video to you and Brooke, just me going, yep. So pour one out for our Coquitlam Express, but the vibes absolutely shifted at Dynasty in Vancouver. So we got there. So how to talk about this up. So when we had a great crew, we had 6 people in a row along the aisle. So my theory was for buying tickets. So we were in like section 107. So if you're watching on TV, you're basically facing the side that faces the TV the entire time. When you have the middle section, if you're looking at the TV broadcast, we were the one section to the right along the aisle, 11th floor. So every now and then we'd be featured on TV. And we had aisle seats, and I wanted these seats because, at Rogers Arena, there's a club seat section that's separate from the rest of the lower bowl. And I wanted those seats because, obviously, with such little downtime in AEW, and their pay-per-views especially, the quicker lineups to the washroom, to concession, and to merch, and that's what I was thinking. Boy, what a fool I was. I was a foolish fool, Ace. Why? I don't know why I bother planning, because my plans never actually work, even if
It
they
still
should
stayed
work.
pretty busy. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, so they decide to remove the walls of the club section, so there's just the entire lower bowl open, and worst yet, for this entire arena, because they did partially open up some rows on the upper levels, there's only one merch booth for the entire lower bowl and some of the upper bowl. And this lineup went for fucking ever. I can't even remember. Did you get merch or not? Or
I didn't bother. Yeah, I saw it. That went.
yeah, God. So I saw it went from like the merch booth on the lower bowl, it went around the corner all the way upstairs to the upper bowl. And I'm like, oh my God. And there was one shirt I wanted to get. So Chris Jericho's on the show. He has like a custom logo where it's his name, but it's in the Vancouver Canucks flying skate. And as much gripes as I have with the Canucks, that flying skate logo just flies off the shelves. It's a great design, great color scheme. I wanted that, but I think right when I was passing by is when they took the display shirt off the wall, and it's like, yeah, this is sold out. What are you gonna do? And so we get there. We have a great view. 9,000 plus in attendance. I think it was over 9,100. Uh, this is the Abbey News that had it. It was the largest attendance for a non WWE show in BC since March 4th, 1968, when there was a 9,900 plus at the old Pacific Coliseum. I think, as far as I know, this makes this AEW show like the third largest non-WWE pro wrestling show in our beautiful province. And what a long way we've come, Ace. Like, I remember when we were used to every 2 years, WWE would have like a house show loop and like, oh, we'll hit Victoria and Vancouver. And then maybe they'd hit Kelowna every now and then or whatever. But I can't believe we were at this point where we got a pay-per-view of 9,000 plus that was not WWE. Plus this province, plus the state the wrestling world's in right now.
Well, I was gonna say too, it did take them a while to get. I forget what it was, the exact story for it, but it was during the Attitude Era, and it was after I think it was a Raw where the crowd was pretty rowdy. I mean, you look back and you see those crowds, and for the longest time, the city of Vancouver just didn't want to televise show at all.
Mhm.
Same with UFC, like they just for a city that's maybe known to riot after a couple libations. But yeah, so for the longest time, we never even got a televised show. I'm pretty sure was it the SmackDown in
Before COVID was
2020?
like the
Yeah,
first one. You and your dad went to that one, right?
and we did. Yeah, it was right before the world shut down too. It was kind of eerie. I remember seeing a woman on the
What a
SkyTrain
fucking
with a
WWE
mask.
line that is.
Well, no, I saw a woman on the SkyTrain with a mask, and I remember looking at my dad and saying, like, I think they're taking it a bit too serious, don't you? And then the joke I always tell is then and then the next month I was working in my bedroom. So life moves fast. But yeah, that was I think the first televised show, and it's been nice because now there was a collision here a couple of years ago. We had Survivor Series 2 years ago that we went to. So I don't know. I really like seeing it grow here, especially in Vancouver. Um, I won't lie, I do sometimes miss those house shows just because you get a little bit more, yeah, especially if you're in the lower seats, you can interact with them a bit more, and
Mhm.
it feels kind of a bit more independent. But that being said, it's really cool to see a main show like that highlighted in our beautiful city and province.
Yeah. I don't know why. I remember the only reason I think that the only justifiable reason I could ever think or I could ever hear of about why, say, WWE wouldn't come to Vancouver often was on Bruce Pritchard's podcast. He was talked about how much he loved Vancouver and how beautiful it was, but mentioned how much of a pain in the butt it is to get there, whether you're going through the border or even if you're coming from Alberta, just going through the Rockies to get to Vancouver. But I remember that SmackDown had like what, 12,000 people, and that was pre-pandemic. Vince McMahon completely lost his marbles episode of SmackDown, and it still had a great crowd. And it's like, yeah, we have a great wrestling province here. We got great wrestling cities here. Come on over, have your shows. Let's go. And about the crowd too. So of course this wasn't like the biggest crowd, like 9,000 plus. But that being said, I've been to AEW shows like where the pre-show happens. There are just fans taking their time to trickle in. And granted, there are still people coming in to the arena or grabbing merch or going through the concession. But we get to our seats. I'm not sure how you felt looking at this, Ace. I'm looking left. I'm looking right. This lower bowl is packed for the pre-show. And I felt these guys are ready for some AEW wrestling right now. I could not believe just the atmosphere legit right from the get-go. I don't know how you felt.
Yeah, well, we got there a little bit early too. I think we were in by about 3:30 with pre-show for 4. So when we first got there, it was definitely a little bit more sparse, but yeah, it filled up quick. Um, and yeah, no, it was cool to see it full house yeah, for the start of the pre-show there.
All right. And speaking of the pre-show, I guess we shouldn't just keep talking about like the aura of Vancouver. I guess we should actually talk about what transpired on this show. First match of the pre-show, Alex Windsor taking on Marina Shafir. Admittedly, I missed half of this match because I was telling you about how there's only one merch table in the lower bowl. Half of this match I spent doing a big old circle trying to find another merch table. So this was the match I had to kind of sacrifice to find, and then I realized, man, I'm just gonna have to gut through that merch lineup that starts upstairs at one point. So once I got there, I arrived to fans chanting, "Put your shoes on" at Marina Shafir. I died. We have a thing like our buddies have a running gag of telling each other, "Take off your shoes.
Show us your toes."
And who was the one who said, like, was it our buddy Tom while he was on stage at the Queens and Nine or something? I think he actually did take his shoes off, and then
He
the
did.
next was someone saying, "Spread them."
That was our boy Rotten Ronnie, as we affectionately like to refer to. He's gonna be a father in
Oh my
about a
God.
month, which is crazy. Yeah.
He's gonna be a great father, but it's like the scene of How I Met Your
Well,
Mother.
we'll see.
It's like seeing How I Met Your Mother where you have to realize that man's gonna be a father or that man's gonna be a mother. Show us your toes and spread them. Ron is gonna be a father. So,
He
anyways,
is.
Marina Shafir did not put her shoes on. In fact, she flipped
She
off
didn't.
the crowd. She was showing off her pedicure, I suppose. It sounds like the fans loved Alex Windsor, though, by the time I was getting there. She wins with a sort of pump handle slam looking move, like she grabs Marina's arms, puts it through her legs, and then drops her with like a made in Japan, similar to the move what Penta does. From what I saw, though, this is hard hitting, and I'm happy Vancouver had a spot for Alex Windsor as much as I did, Ace.
That was a good little amount. A good way to start the show too.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about Alex Windsor. This is not a comparison for me. She gives me like a Lyra Valkyria kind of vibes in the sense where she looks so wholesome, like a sincerely nice person that you can't help but root for them. But then she beats the piss out of her opponent, so she is a
I see
competitor.
it. I see the vision.
Alrighty. Now backstage, Renee Paquette is talking to the TBS champion Willow Nightingale backstage, where she is laid out by a woman. And she says to the camera, "I'm back." Ace, gun to my head. I cannot tell you who this woman was. I cannot remember. My brains would be splattered all over you and Brooke if that was the case. It was the returning Camille. My jaw was on the floor, Ace, because I'm not sure if you remember the lore of Camille, but she came to AEW in 2024. She's the Brick House, I think is her nickname. She's this tall woman. She's jacked. She was basically brought in to be Mercedes Monet's heavy, like the Diesel to her Shawn Michaels. She had a shitter of a match so bad with Chris Statlander that basically they pulled her away from Mercedes Monet. She was laid out backstage, and they basically retconned the whole story. That's how bad this match was. This was back in 2024, and she was never heard of. She had like a prominent feature in like the Queen of the Ring movie. AEW never capitalized on that. and she's just back. I was stunned.
Yeah, no, I know. I remember her from the Mercedes Moné time, but I wasn't super familiar with her work. I just, I remembered seeing her a couple of years back. A little random, especially for a like just kind of like a bonus match there on the pre-show, but it's nothing terrible, nothing that I was offended at least.
No, absolutely. So Camille squashes Big Ann, who is the current Nation Extreme Wrestling Women's Champion, by the way. Shout out to our BC independent scene, and shout out to Tony Khan for booking our BC Indie stars. She also competed with Boom Pro Wrestling and All Star Wrestling, so she does the job here, though. Camille squashes her in like a minute. Her offense didn't look too bad, so that happened. And then she challenged Willow Nightingale for the TBS Championship on Wednesday, and very quickly she was not as bad as that Chris Statlander match. Her offense was pretty good. She moves a little uncoordinated. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Best of luck to Camille on this run. I was just still stunned that this whole thing just happened out of nowhere, so I think I'm still a little shocked by it. But yeah, shout out to Big Ann for getting on this stage, and yeah, quick little squash there by Camille. Now, I'd say this is probably the best match of the pre-show that I was able to see. Jungle Jack Perry defends the AEW National Championship against Mark Davis of the Don Callis family. I love this so much. This is like a classic babyface versus heel match. He's no longer a jungle boy, old Jack Perry. He's got a little stubble. He's a jungle teen now, but he's still a babyface. He's got a face that you don't want to see get punched. While Mark Davis, and I mean this in the best way possible, the greatest big, mean, ugly looking dude you ever saw. He is a perfect looking villain in pro wrestling. So Davis has Jack for is going for a power slam to Jack on the outside, but Jungle Boy gets off and shoves Davis into the ring post. Davis then murders Jack with a vertical suplex on the apron. I can't believe they did that on the pre-show. So the whole match, they're teasing a pile driver. The smaller Jack Perry is trying to give a pile driver to the larger Mark Davis. Eventually, he hits it, but Davis kicks out. It's not the finish, but the Jungle Boy does win with a Hurricanrana, and like Rey Mysterio, he goes for the pin, and he retains his belt. This was a lot of fun, and the fans seem to love the Jungle Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, my only I won't say issue with it was probably definitely my most favorite match from the pre-show is I feel like he should have either started or ended the pre-show with it just because it was a nice babyface win. I felt like the crowd was the most lively for it. So either started off hot or that's kind of like the main event for the pre-show there. 0 hour, I should say.
Fair play. And you know what? I'm happy Jungle Boy has Tarzan Boy as his theme again. I mean, it's
Yes.
just fun to sing, and your fiance Brooke loves to sing and dance too, so I think she was able to
Oh yeah.
endear herself to the Jungle Boy rather quickly.
We
So
were vibing.
absolute vibing. Oh my goodness. So, and considering Jungle Boy became the Jungle Boy again at the show I went to in Toronto, and I was taking a leak while it was happening, I come back to my seat. It's like, oh, Jurassic Express is reunited. Oh, he's the Jungle Boy Jack Perry now. I was happy to just be there from dawn to dusk, just the vibe. And you know what? Old Jack Perry, he's got the light back in his eye again. After some tough years, he's just flying full steam ahead.
I was gonna say you spoke a little too quick, but when you said he doesn't have a punchable face, I was gonna say just a chokeable neck, apparently. So
you you got choked out. No, he didn't. Ah, that was great. Yeah, cry me a river. Jack Perry haters. He's doing good again.
he's doing okay. He's doing okay.
Yep. And so the final match of the pre-show, I'm going to depend on you for this. So Megan Bayne and Lana Cross, the Divine Dominion, they're defending the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships against former, I believe she was formerly of All-Star Wrestling in the Lower Mainland, Hyen, and Maya World. Uh, Nothing against these four women. I'm a big fan of Megan Bayne, especially too. I sacrificed this match to go into the merch line. I did not think Hyen and Maya World had a chance in hell. And if they won, that would have been on me for doubting them. But Megan Bayne and Lana Cross retain. yeah, shout to Hein again, former competitor in All-Star Wrestling. Ace, what the hell happened here?
It's a good little match. It was one of those again, like you said, where you knew the titles were never really in jeopardy. Doesn't mean it was bad though. But yeah, I think just for us, especially in our group, we were doing a lot more talking during this than we probably should have been. But yes, so the champions end up retaining. And you come back with some merch.
Merch and a beer. Cannot forget about
There
that
you
last
go.
part. The first of many. Yeah, so I get to the top of the merch line at the top of the stairs. I want to say maybe 442, something like that. Shout out to the people working merch at Rogers Arena. This lineup was taking forever. Well, the lineup went on for ages. They worked so efficiently, though. I probably started at the lineup at the top of the stairs, go all the way down the stairs around the corner. I get my shirts probably with 5 minutes to the top of the hour. They breezed us through. So I got this shirt, one with the AEW Dynasty logo and poster on it. I asked for the one because they had the shirt where one side was Kenny Omega as the god of pro wrestling, the other side with MJF as the devil. They unfortunately gave me the wrong shirt. I was in a rush, so it was all okay. And then I did get a Kenny Omega shirt. So I got two shirts, I got my beer, and I think I made it back to our seats with maybe 1 minute to spare, and we had the full show ahead of us. And yeah, let's get into it. This was a hell of a show. This is a great, great, great fucking show. All right, we begin with the Young Bucks defeating Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita of the Don Callis family. Ace, it just dawned on me. We are going to talk about all of our Canadians who lost on this show. Even Don Callis's boys lost on this show. And he's from Winnipeg. Even his family didn't win on this show. I'm sure the fans are happy about it, but that's another Canadian. Elbows up,
That
you
is
know?
amazing. It was fun just thinking of it the way, obviously, yes, Don Callis is Canadian. I was thinking for just a split second you meant Okada, and it reminded me of WrestleMania 9 with the USA chants when they're like, who are they chanting for? Like, because Yokozuna is the American pretending to be a Japanese guy, but they're chanting USA at the Canadian guy. So I got a kick out of that for a second when you said it.
Oh, yeah. Off topic. You watched the second season of Ted, right? The Seth MacFarlane show.
No, just the first season.
Okay. There's a great
Yeah.
joke that is exactly like that. Clearly, someone on the writing staff with a wrestling fan. So, the father of John Bennett, I can't believe it. Like, he's the same actor who does the voice of Steve Smith, American Dad. He is just the typical masshole, for lack of a better term, because they're in Boston. He's watching WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart and Yokozuna. And I guess Yokozuna hits the bonsai drop on Bret Hart and he says, fuck you, Yokozuna. You can't do that to Bret Hart, you foreigner.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get more of a kick out of you. Bret Hart being Canadian.
I do remember you saying it, so I think that's why it didn't clue
Ah,
to me right away. But
okay. Not a swing and a miss, but maybe a foul off. I don't know.
yeah. What was it? Carson used to always say, "Wow, bombo."
Ah, ah, well. I'll have better jokes down the road eventually. I'm due.
They can't get
Right?
much worse. Yeah,
They absolutely cannot. Hey, you never know. It could be like the road to WrestleMania. It can always get worse.
it apparently can. I'm sure we'll get to that. But
100%. All right, so the Young Bucks are taking on Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. These fucking Young Bucks, goddamn, watching them live, they're unfreaking believable. And Takeshita and Okada are unbelievable as well, too. So it begins. Okada and Takeshita knock down Buck early on and are having an anything you can do, I can do better spot. They're taking turns dropping an elbow on one of these Bucks. They eventually shake hands. So the story going into this match was Kyle Fletcher got hurt for realsies and had to vacate his TNT championship. He was supposed to team up with Kazuchika Okada for this match. They replace him with Takeshita, who has been beefing with Okada probably since Yokozuna versus Bret Hart, if we're being honest. This has just been going on forever now. But basically, Don Callis says, if you guys beat the Bucks, Takeshita, you will get a shot at Okada's international championship. So Takeshita has a reason to try here. So the Bucks are going for the Meltzer driver on Takeshita, and Okada tries to cut it off with a drop kick, but Nick holds on to the ropes, and Okada just takes a bump. Just perfect time in this match. Nick eventually hits a springboard dropkick on Takeshita and falls on and Okada at the same time. So he hits the dropkick, and as he's fallen, turns into a senton as he falls on Okada. And here's the thing about this Okada. He's a heel, but he's this all-time great legend. He's this all-time great wrestler from Japan. Everyone respects him respects him so much, I should say. So they'll eventually boo him to be a part of the show, but they love him so much. But the thing with Okada is he was born to dilly-dally, and he was just forced to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. You hate to see it. So, middle of this match, Okada puts on the gear of Nick Jackson, the jacket, the headband, and as Matt Jackson is hopeless in the ring, Okada's going for the hot tag. He's clapping to the crowd, trying to rally for the hot tag. And as Matt Jackson turns around, Okada flips him off, and Matt Jackson just has the fuck off, fuck you, disappointed look.
Best part of the night, or best part of the match. Maybe the night, but best part of the match for sure.
Maybe the night. And that's not to discredit the rest of the night. This is a lot of fun. A great, great, great comedy spot. So, speaking of Nick Jackson and the gear, Ace, I kind of tried to fill our crew in on the inside joke with Nick Jackson, this like little lore we have. So there's a tweet that went off months ago that said, Nick Jackson at All In 2026, if he adopts the catchphrase, what the dog doing? And it's basically the photo of Jey Uso holding the World Heavyweight Championship at last year's WrestleMania, basically saying Nick Jackson can do that. Instead of yeet, it's what the dog doing? And it's mostly a joke, but what the dog doing? I think I want to see Nick Jackson in a singles run at some point, because what the dog doing? This fucking guy, he does this incredible one-person comeback. He flips over Takeshita's back and hits Okada with a spinning heel kick at the same time. He sets Takeshita up for a tree of woe in the corner. He kicks Okada with a springboard double stomp, rolls through, and hits a backstabber on Takeshita. What the fucking dog doing? I think me and KMA said that many times back and forth. What the dog doing? Yeet. Eventually, Takeshita's going... This might be my favorite spot of the match. Takeshita's going for a German suplex on Matt Jackson, who's trying to do the same thing to Okada. They're all hanging on to each other's hips, and then Okada's hanging on to the ropes. Nick does a sunset flip on Takeshita, who then... It's like a barrel of monkeys. They're hanging on to each other. So Nick hits the sunset flip. Okada, he flips Takeshita, who's hanging on to Matt, who's hanging on to Okada, and it's like a chain German suplex. There were so many creative spots in this match. This ruled. Takeshita hits Matt with a blue thunder bomb. Nick uses his brother's corpse basically as a stepping stool to hit Takeshita with a destroyer. The Bucks have dueling sharpshooters on. Elbows up. They're in Canada. They get it. And it looks like Okada's about to tap, but Takeshita starts slapping him. And then they start slapping each other. And
Which I did point out to you was kind of a tap, but that's besides the point.
Referee's discretion. It was one slap each. I think if you're tapping out, you need at least two in a row, right?
I've never read the manual or the rule book, but I don't know if it says you need to tap at least twice.
Okay. We may not be wrestlers. We'll need to be referees, and then we'll figure out the rule book in the world of pro wrestling, and we'll see whose discretion it is or who's right. But so basically they're trying to motivate each other with slaps, and they eventually power through. Okada and Takeshita accidentally hit each other with moves, and then eventually they realize they hate each other and they start trading forearms. So we get to the end. The Bucks have Okada for the Meltzer driver again. Takeshita has Nick's foot on the apron and could stop this, but Takeshita does the equivalent of my favorite corny trope in wrestling. He does his version of, you know what? Forget beating the Young Bucks. And he walks up the ramp and presents Okada as a meal to the Young Bucks. They hit the Meltzer driver, and they leave Okada to die a death. Takeshita realizes he hates Okada. He'll get a championship shot another way. The Bucks win. The crowd was on fire for this. The action was unbelievable. Ace, this generally might have been one of the best matches I've ever seen. It was a treat to watch.
Yeah, this is definitely match of the night, I believe. Just from start to finish, perfect way to start it. Nice babyface win, hot throughout. No, I really enjoyed this match.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I think it was my favorite match of the night too. And I didn't want to be basic because it's always easiest to not easiest, I should say. It's favorable to have the opening match because the crowd's typically hotter, so you can take advantage of a hot crowd. But these guys took that and then some. It was followed up by, well, it was a tough act to follow, but I think these guys did a great job to do it. Chris Jericho, his first match in over a year in AEW, he's taken on Ricochet. Ace, we gotta talk about Jericho's reaction. These fans fucking loved this man tonight. I would say Jericho probably was the most over guy on the whole show. Maybe he got the biggest pop of the night. It was unbelievable. I could not see after the last couple of years we had how beloved Jericho was.
Absence definitely does make the heart grow fonder because people were, I think, ready to have him back. I don't know if maybe it's that deep about just like everything with either him maybe going back to WWE, whether he stays, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, even if somebody, you're like, oh, he's washed, he's old, whatever. No matter what, when they come back, I think people are always, like, yeah, let's go. So I think that, well, and being in Canada too, definitely, yeah, definitely helped it. But
Yeah, because I don't think there's been a grassroots movement of we fucking want Chris Jericho back so bad. But Jericho, well, first of all, he's got Judas back as his theme song, and fans do love to sing. But Jericho rallied these fans. He really pulled every trick in the book to try and get a reaction. And for some odd reason, this Rogers Arena crowd just was like, okay, we will cheer for you. We will go bonkers for you. You're our guy now. And I realized I had to go back in time. I'm trying to think of all his absences in WWE and being with AEW. I believe this is his first match back in BC. Correct me if I'm wrong. Since 2009, that like pair of house shows he did for Raw. The one in Victoria where, he punched a woman outside his rental car afterwards because apparently got spat on.
yeah.
That one, that made headlines. But since 2009, 17 fucking years, and maybe that was a big part of it too. BC hasn't seen Jericho in 17 years. It feels like the house show was just yesterday for me, but God, times are a marches forward.
Right, you were at that show too, weren't you?
I was at the Victoria show.
Mm.
He and Randy Orton lost a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. They lost to John Cena that night, and I was ready to boo John Cena that night. Victoria fucking loved John Cena. Braun and I were outnumbered big time, but it was great to see Big Match John there. Uh, Moving forward, though, so Chris Jericho, of course, as mentioned, this is his first match back in a year, and we've seen him on Dynamite in his returns where he's looking pretty light. He does look light once you saw him without a shirt and his gear. He looked smaller than Ricochet. He looked smaller. He looked more mobile at 55. Uh, so the story of this match going in, so Chris Jericho signed his contract. He was able to choose an opponent. Ricochet and his crew comes out on Dynamite the week before, just saying, Jericho, you should leave or else you'll get hurt. And Chris Jericho says, all right, I'll think of an opponent. All right, thought of him. And this is where I thought maybe this comeback will work. He brings back the List of Jericho, a great, great, great gimmick that he had in I think it was like what 2016, 2017 with like Kevin Owens
Another
and the
10 years ago now. Jesus.
God damn world and death is imminent. But he brings it back. It's old enough to be nostalgic now. I can't believe that. But he says, Ricochet, you know what happens when you're bald? And I laughed so hard. I'm like, I think this comeback is actually going to work. I can't believe it. And
Well,
then,
you know what's funny? I saw a what do you call after that first like when he did the list, and I forget the exact clip, but somebody says it to him in the beginning of AEW, and he was like, "That's old, cut it out." And again, sometimes things are gone for long enough that it's time to bring them back. So
it is time. No, this guy, it feels like we're getting the Ayatollah of rock and roll on this recent comeback. Good
well,
little
even
nostalgia
the
there.
on to kind of jump ahead to Dynamite when he was doing like he was in because the matter. what was I going to say? The feud will continue.
Mhm.
But when he was lipping off Ricochet and he kept putting like bald in, he's like, after they hit bald, so they're eating it up. But
The-
it did feel very like 2000, 2001, making fun of Stephanie, so we'll see. But it definitely does feel like that old school Jericho, which is kind of cool.
yeah, he's playing the hits, and the hits are working right now. And it felt like the more he said bald, the more the crowd laughed, the more Renee in the ring laughed. Yeah, that was great. All right, so in the match here, though, uh, what do I say? So Ricochet, how do you say? I don't know if it's fair to say he completely carried this match. He did look a lot better and he sold his ass off for Chris Jericho, but Jericho, you know what? 55, his first match in a year, definitely more than held his own. I think it's harder the more time you spend in between the ring, the harder it is to get back into ring shape, as one would say. So Ricochet eventually kills Chris Jericho with a Death Valley driver on the apron. Chris Jericho's 55 in taking this move. This guy's a sicko. For the love of the game. So Jericho has Ricochet in a chin lock and puts his long hair in Ricochet's bald eyes. I laughed. Jericho eventually hits the lion salt. Again, 55. Unbelievable. Ricochet is going for a shooting star press, but Chris Jericho counters into a code breaker. And this is where I get a message from our buddy Rick, and he says, "Nice shot on the Jumbotron." I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about. Until our buddy Cole Musto, shout out, sent me a snap of when he watched the pay-per-view. After Chris Jericho counters this shooting star press, who should the AEW cameras zoom into but me? What?
That's pretty cool.
What? I couldn't believe it. I was like pulling my hair back, like, I can't believe that happened. I was looking to our friend Game On, I can't believe that happened. And not only did AEW zoom in on me, they used a different shot for the recap video on Wednesday. Ace, I have a face for radio for a reason. Despite this YouTube video, I couldn't fucking believe
Yeah.
it.
I know, yeah. It's cool because I don't think we caught it right away. We'll get to it in a bit. Obviously, we found out later where we caught it live in the moment. But yeah, it took us a bit to realize, like, which is kind of nice though, because you're not like trying to ham it up for the camera. It's just like a genuine you after
Hmm.
two Coors Light tall boys, just vibing, having a good night. And yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, and I guess if you want to, my only suggestion, if you want to get on the Jumbotron on a wrestling show or something, my only suggestion is put your phone away because I decided on this show, I'm taking notes here, but like it's some live vibes, but then I did go through and see some spots to just kind of piece together the recap. I hardly brought up my phone because I trusted you to take pics and vids. I trusted our friend Alex to do that as well. Brooke, Kama. I think Matt was just like me. He was vibing as well, but I knew that I was covered for memories and I was just vibing. So because I wasn't checking my phone and I wasn't pointing my phone at the Jumbotron. I was just vibing. I think the folks on the camera just want to see people vibing, having natural reactions. So if you're at a show and you want to be on the Jumbotron or the TV broadcast, that would just be my suggestion, I suppose. But yeah, thank you, AEW. We had a lot of fun with that this week. Our friends, my coworkers. Yeah, so that was cool. Uh, Chris Jericho has Ricochet in the walls of Jericho, but Toa Leona pulls him to the ropes. Ricochet hits Chris Jericho with the Spirit Gun. He has the win, but to add insult to injury, he hits Chris Jericho's lion's hold on him and gets not a clean win because there was some interference, but decisively beats Chris Jericho at the end. I'm mixed on this, but at the time, I think I said to you, I wrote on social media, I would have called an audible here. These fans fucking loved Chris Jericho tonight, and I think Chris Jericho needs all the positive vibes he can get right now in this comeback.
Yeah, I didn't think he should lose. It is interesting you mentioned though about the positive vibes. Maybe they looked at it as, well, we can't bring him right back and then just have him beat Ricochet right away. So maybe that was the thought process, but yeah, I don't know. You're in Canada, he's back. You kind of got to reestablish him. I know obviously he's their first champion, But yeah, he should have won this match. Nothing against Ricochet, which is also annoying. Because, I mean, maybe they'll look at it now because the feud's continuing. So, but no, I think Jericho should have walked away with the win there.
Likewise. So we follow that up with a genuinely batshit match. It's Darby Allin taking on Andrade El Idolo. We mentioned Darby Allin wins, but how does he get there? So Darby throws Andrade into the ropes where he does the tranquilo fist bump where he's all relaxed and everything. Darby does not care though. Darby yeets himself into Andrade through the ropes. They both go crashing onto the floor. So Andrade is taking a selfie eventually with a fan who's ringside. It's a plant. This is an independent pro wrestler named Kingsley, who's from Australia, but I believe she's based in Toronto. She has competed with Boom Pro Wrestling and was a part of the Mystery Wrestling Show in Vancouver over the weekend. She posted the selfie to social media, so good for you, Kingsley, and good for you, Andrade. This thing's helping you. How do you say? It's not like the fans didn't like Darby this match. In fact, I thought the fans really liked Darby. I was sort of wondering, deep down, do these fans just like Andrade El Idolo just a little bit more? And that's why I was a little about this potential title change Wednesday. I thought Andrade might have been more beloved this night. Ace, very quickly, what'd you think?
I was in that boat too. Again, assuming that Darby, I didn't even think about him winning Wednesday. I kind of just had it written in my head, like, oh, well, if Darby wins, he'll just, lose at Double or Nothing or whatever, anyways. So I was definitely Andrade. I think he's been super hot recently. Um, yeah, I was a little upset with the outcome at first. Obviously now it makes all the sense in the world. Um, but that being said, I think they still had a really good match from start to finish.
It was unbelievable. They did so much crazy shit. I can't even begin to recap. So they're doing some crowd brawling. Darby Allen, so they're brawling up the stairs. Unfortunately, they're on the section to the left of the center section facing the hard cam, not the other side. If they were on the other side, we would have been right front and center for crowd brawling in the stairs. So
Slapping
I
backs and touching shoulders and
Andrade, show us your toes. Take off your shoes.
right up.
Thrum. So Darby hits Andrade with a drop kick on the stairs, and he lands on the corner concrete stairs of Rogers Arena. There's a red mark on his back almost immediately. I remember the spot with Samoa Joe back during, I think it was TNA's biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory in 2008. He does this same dropkick on the stair spot to Sting. And Samoa Joe, I mean this in the best way possible, he's just a big old fat guy. He can cushion himself for that kind of spot, and apparently he had back issues for years. Darby Allin, I know he's a skateboarder. I know he's like a semi-pro stuntsman. Why would you take this spot? I was so scared for him, but
Yeah,
he looks fine, I suppose. But
I don't know. This is a totally different topic for another day, but I've never been huge on the let's do it for real and, tough through it. Like I think, I've always said it's supposed to be fake. Um, not in a bad way. But yeah, sometimes I'll see these kind of spots and I'm just like, you want some more like street cred for? I don't know. I'm not a wrestler. Um I won't, critique their art. But yeah, it's always been one where it's just like, no, we did appreciate it, but it's just like you see some of these and you're just like, man, like what are you fucking doing? Like,
yeah,
you know.
I've seen, and it depends, like different skill sets for different folks. Like I wouldn't expect, say, who's an example right now? I wouldn't expect John Cena to do a spot like that on steel steps because Darby's kind of a stuntsman. He kind of knows a little bit how to make it look painful, but then to not really be hurt. This time, though, I saw that red mark from the concrete steps, like, brother, I don't think there's a way to make that not hurt. I think that was just a bad idea. It looked cool, but ah, oh
Well,
my god,
that too, and you think about it like, I'm guessing he probably knew at that point, like you're supposed to win the title on Wednesday. So, like, I mean, obviously everything went okay, so we don't need to knock on wood or anything, but like, Do you imagine something goes wrong there, and then come Wednesday, you're like, oh, fuck it. So uh,
Yeah,
I digress.
he looked great on Wednesday, so you know what? What the hell do
He
you want to
did,
do, I
yeah,
suppose? Good
yeah.
grief. So Darby, well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Darby is apparently fine for the rest of the match, though. He hits this crazy avalanche crucifix, gets into a crossface, but he doesn't get the win. Andrade is teasing Darby with a delayed vertical suplex to the floor outside. I'm thinking, okay, I'm waiting for a counter. Nope. They just follow through with a delayed vertical suplex on the outside fucking floor. Andrade is also insane. Uh, so Darby proves to be more insane, though. He puts Andrade into a steel chair on the outside. He hits a missile dropkick from the outside, lands right on his back. And this is where I looked up at the Jumbotron, and our friend Kama, who's training to be a pro wrestler, I think she knows a thing or two now about how devastating bumps can be, even just in the ring, let alone if you're going to the outside, something like Darby's doing. She had genuine shoot concern on her face, and AEW's cameras went right to her, so she's on the Jumbotron. Unfortunately, she's in the split screen for the pay-per-view broadcast, and then I look up, I realize that's Kama. And as soon as I'm pointing up to the screen, that's where AEW turns the camera away. So, but that was pretty cool. That was a cool, I
That
think,
was pretty sick.
temporarily suspended because we didn't know about me being on the broadcast during the Jericho match. We all saw Kama up there. I think we were temporarily taken out of the match though because our friend is on the fucking pay per view.
Yeah, that was really sick. And it happened twice, like
Unbelievable. Yeah, so Kama makes her AEW debut for, well, I guess she ref for VIPW. I was gonna say it would be funnier if she was all elite first before.
yeah.
Oh my god. Ah, just like these NXT talents. You didn't grind on the indies first before making it to the big leagues or whatever. I don't know. So eventually, I think Marina Shafir, unlike Marina Shafir's shoes, the fans are starting to chant to Andrade El Idolo, take your pants off. And Andrade obliges. He takes off his pants. He has wrestling trunks underneath. Ace, what'd you think about these trunks? Because I feel like I'm being generous in calling them wrestling trunks. These things were the smallest fucking pair of trunks I've ever seen in my life. I know he's been hitting leg day, he's yoked, but this was like borderline soft pornography. I can't believe how small these things were.
Yeah, one wrong move and it would have been a peep show. So
Oh, good grief. Yep. So Darby goes for the code red. This is the maybe the coolest spot on the show. God bless the Young Bucks. Darby's going for the code red. Andrade flips him back, head over heels, hits him with his fake kick that he turns into a spinning back elbow. Love that spot. Darby does eventually get the win with, of all things, the Last Supper Cradle. I swear to God, this move is more protected than the one winged angel. So Darby gets the win. Both men shake hands afterwards. It kind of hints that Andrade, he might be breaking away from this Don Callis family because he didn't want to help MJF. He shows Darby some respect, and they go on their merry ways. Two big thumbs up for this match.
oh yeah.
All right, now to some more Canadian content. FTR is defending the AEW Men's World Tag Team Championships against Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, the former Edge and Christian in WWE. So I was going to get a new beverage here, and I'm saying, hey, keep me up to date. What matches come up next? I think in all caps, you and Alex are like to me, it's Cope and Cage, get back here ASAP. I'm like, ah! So sprinting to take a leak, to get a beer, come back, and I think I'm just catching the fireworks display of Adam Copeland's theme, and all is right with the world. Ace, I want you to take it from here, though, because well, to the best of my knowledge, I think this is the first time you've seen Adam Copeland live, but I saw your video you took afterwards. I thought I was marking out for Kenny Omega later in the show. I don't think I've ever heard you scream louder in your life than you during the entrance of the former Edge. Take it away. What did this mean to you?
Yeah, no, so that's the thing about getting old too, is like I'll go to a lot of these shows and it's getting fewer and far between that you you see the ones that you grew up with. And in a lot of ways, I mean, one of the things we always talk about, especially now when it pertains to WWE, is the age of a lot of these guys. Um, and that they're getting up there and it's time for a new wave. And I totally agree with that. But that being said, there's still a few wrestlers because growing up, I didn't really go to a lot of shows, a couple house shows here and there, but there was a lot of wrestlers that I never saw. Like I'll never see Triple H, I'll never see The Undertaker. And Edge was one of those guys for the longest time because I think by the time he retired, I was like 15, 16. Um, so when he first came back, I hadn't even thought about it, but he was one of the guys that, funny enough, actually, my last AEW show, 222, the Double or Nothing, I got quite a few guys on there. Like there was Samoa Joe, the Hardys, Christian. Technically, this is my first time seeing Christian wrestle as well. But Edge was one of those guys just being like, the tormentor of our childhoods, where just whenever it was always a weird relationship because being Canadian, a lot of us really liked him, and I think by the time he was starting to get big, we were getting to that age where you boo the bad guys, and but man, did I hate Edge growing up. So I think it was really cool. Like the only other one I could see being bigger for me would be like seeing like a JBL or something. Um, you know, I'm not huge on the mullet. It's kind of sad seeing him look a little gray. It's starting to thin up top just like me, but I don't know. It was really cool seeing Edge there. Uh, yeah, really. That was probably moment of the night for me. Just it was really cool. Cena was still number one when I got to go to the Montreal match last year. But this is definitely right up there in the conversation.
Absolutely. And I think this is probably Adam Copeland's best performance since breaking his leg nearly 2 years ago. And also, I think what made this special was I like it, and this is why, obviously, I think wrestling promotions will try and produce songs in-house, so the presentation of the overall character can't go back and forth, but Adam Copeland kept the same theme song, Metalingus by Alter Bridge, and so when he first returned, it felt like, my God, that's the rated R superstar Edge in AEW, and I think it's so cool whenever that happens, and like when Cody Rhodes got to keep his theme song from the Indies and AEW to WWE. It felt like an AEW character in WWE, like a crossover, or like when CM Punk first appeared in AEW and he was still able to use the cult of personality. It was like, I like it. I like it. It feels like a crossover. It feels a little extra special. It feels like a little extra forbidden. So I'm happy Adam Copeland still has that theme song. And it's an
Yeah.
objective banner, in my opinion. So hell yeah to that.
Oh yeah, probably one of the best themes there is.
Oh yeah.
If you were to ask, 1,000 wrestling fans to compile their top five themes, you might hear the same ones for number one a lot, but I didn't always. I think going to be on most of their lists, whether it's one, whether it's five, that's one of those ones for people.
All right. I've been putting this crowd over at Rogers Arena the entire night. I mean, speaking of which, like across Twitter, across social media, even from Dave Meltzer saying it was one of the best AEW crowds in recent memory. If there is one critique for this crowd had no rhythm tonight. Uh, they do not stick the landing with singing Metalingus. Half of them, it feels like they just started to cheer. Maybe they thought it was the end. Maybe they just couldn't contain their excitement and just contain their love for Adam Copeland. But we didn't stick the landing for that song. But what are you gonna
Same
do?
same with O Canada.
Oh yeah, because it's I like that though because as the match is beginning, an organic "Oh Canada" chant starts, and it's not like an uber patriotic match, but Edge and Christian, even though they're Toronto boys, they're still Canadian boys against FTR, and a natural "Oh Canada" chant breaks out. It was a little uneven at first because it's organic, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was really sweet.
hmm So the match begins with Cash Wheeler going for a handshake. And so, of course, the story is when Edge was just coming back into wrestling, Cash was helping him get trained for it because Cash worked at the gym that Edge went to in Nashville, North Carolina. Edge helped him get to WWE. So Cash goes for the handshake. Copes knocks his hand away. Cash spits his gum at Adam Copeland, and a hockey fight breaks out. It's not like going to a fight and a hockey game breaks out. It's going to a wrestling match and a fight breaks out. So Christian, despite this guy being in his 50s and being probably in the best shape of his life, he still wears a turtleneck because even though he's an asshole, he's our asshole. So he's doing a lot of biting in this match. And he's doing also, there's also just a lot of general cool counters and double teams as well. This is a wild spot. So there's a tug of war with the belts when Cope is trying to roll up Dax Harwood. During the struggle, though, Cash hits Adam Copeland with the belt, and I thought he bladed the slow motion video. He starts gushing as soon as this belt hits him. I don't even know how he didn't get concussed. That looked brutal. But that being said, Ace, you mentioned that it's sad to see gray, thinning-haired Edge with the little mullet. Gotta say, old 50-year-old Adam Copeland with the wild hair and the crimson mask. This might have been the coolest he ever looked.
It was a pretty sick shot, yeah.
Unbelievable. So, Cope and Cage hit the 3D as an homage to their old rivals, the Dudley Boys, for a near fall. Adam Copeland hits Dax with a spear and another one. And I believe it was a shatter machine that FTR used to hit Cope to try and go for a near fall. But FTR's manager, Stokely Hathaway, the gimmick is he's short, he's bald, he's weak, he has no hose. But because he's short and weak, Christian Cage throws Stokely into the ring and he rolls into the cover attempt, and that's how Christian breaks that up. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was awesome. That was
Yeah,
so
I don't. I was gonna say I don't think I've ever seen that myself. Yeah.
that was so fucking goofy, but you know what? I could suspend my disbelief for this one. Stokely just did a great job. Uh, so FTR hits Cope with a super kick party to mock the Young Bucks. They're about to hit their own BT trigger, but Cope dodges, hits them both with spears. So Cope is going for another spear. Cash does a somersault to roll Cope backwards, and then he walks right into a shatter machine for the win. I'm so sad these men lost this night, but that was a great finish for a great match. Christian Cage was taken out somehow, some way. I forgot I missed that spot, but Adam Copeland's just fighting off both of FTR by himself, rolls into a shatter machine. Great match. I can understand not calling the audible on Chris Jericho winning his match, considering how many Canadians lost this night and considering what happened on Dynamite and what the story's looking forward. I would have had Cope and Cage win these belts tonight, Ace. On this night, I should say.
Yeah, again, this was one of the ones where it's just it felt weird that it wasn't, it wasn't their night. Obviously we're biased as, and very partial Canadians. But yeah, I didn't get that. That, you know, even more so I could say sure, Jericho, whatever. Ricochet still fairly new. FTR's been there like 6 years now, which is nuts.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I would have had them win the belts here. I was a bit disappointed there.
Yeah, I thought, because what do you do next? Because I figure the Young Bucks are next in line, and we have not seen Cope and Cage take on the Young Bucks before. And FTR and Young Bucks are always, you'll always get a great match, but we just saw this match last month. I figured there's a little triangle rivalry with these tag team championships going through the summer, presumably until All in Wembley. And yeah, I'm just a little puzzled. I will put the belts on these guys tonight, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I do see going into maybe either double or nothing or an all in. I do see at some point a triangle ladder match just to, for the callback to the original TLC and so we'll see when that happens. But yeah, I don't know. I would have given them the legacy run. That's just me though.
Mm-hmm. Coming up next, we got the Casino Gauntlet match for the vacant TNT Championship because Kyle Fletcher is injured. So the way this match works, two competitors start every couple minutes. Someone else enters. So the gimmick with the Casino Gauntlet match, I should say, is this match can hypothetically go on forever until someone wins. And the way you can win is by pinfall or submission. You can get a pinfall a minute in, and you can be the new champion. So the longer you're in the match, ideally, the better chances you have of winning. So it starts off with Tommaso Ciampa and Rush. I think that's the first time I ever rolled an R. Holy smokes. I was excited because
Better at
this...
it than me.
So, this Rush Ace, I mean, his gimmick is, in real life, he doesn't like to sell, he doesn't like to lose, and when he does lose, he likes to look strong. And I think that's what always holds him back with being featured in prominent storylines. But he has the best matches when people don't take his bullshit and they hit him hard just as hard back. His best matches, like with John Moxley and Bryan Danielson, brings tear to my eyes. And I realize Tommaso Ciampa is not going to take Rush's bullshit. So they're just beating the piss out of each other, and I'm just the happiest man on God's green earth watching these two. Uh, Eventually, one of the entrants is Pac, and this guy looks fucking yoked. He looks big on TV. He is gigantic now. Why is he this big? He can still hit his black arrows though. He hits 2 of these during this match. His black arrow, it's like a corkscrew shooting star press. It's a fucking work of art. That was so cool. Tommaso Ciampa tries to cover El Clone for the win, but Bandito in a great spot. So his 21 plex usually involves his opponent like bending over, grabbing the ropes. It's very similar to Rey Mysterio and the 619, where it's like, okay, you need to be in that position for the move, but sometimes the setup is just, it's a little too goofy. I don't think that's going to happen every single match. But it was last month with Andrade that Bandito did like a deadlift 21 plex when Andrade was laying on the mat, and he still hit him with the 21 plex. It looked great. So Ciampa's going for the cover. Bandito hits him with a 21 plex while he's making the cover. That was great. I saw the clip on TV. Excalibur on commentary is screaming at the top of the lungs and just made this spot even better. Bandito's going for a dive to the outside, but El Clone hits him with a Spanish fly to the outside as they all go crashing down. Daniel Garcia's in the match. He's locks in Speedball Mike Bailey, another Canadian who lost, I suppose. He locks in with the Dragon Tamer. Who should come in but Kevin Knight, who probably is the best hops in all of AEW, with a flying in. He comes flying in, hits a UFO splash for the win. Kevin Knight is the new TNT champion. He wasn't my first pick going in, but makes all the sense in the world. Let's have someone new with the mid-card championship, someone who needs to continue to be elevated. Big fan of Kevin Knight.
Yeah. I think at first I was maybe more pulling for Tommaso, but I think this is a good move, especially with you can tell they kind of wanted to build around Kyle Fletcher for a while, so I think they're trying to make the best of a bad situation there, and I think Kevin Knight's the guy to do that. This is totally selfish on my part, but one of the just given the nature, and you had mentioned it early too, with these matches, how technically speaking they could go forever. Just once, I would love to see like they've run out of wrestlers and like oh they got a cameraman like because they don't give you a number. They say like somebody will come out each what's every 2 minutes or whatever it is. I'd love to see them cut to the back and Tony's like just get out there, just we need somebody, just go out there, and it's like what, so the cameraman comes in, and it's like one of those baseball games where they're in like the 17th inning and they've got like the second baseman throwing and you're like, this just end it, this is stupid, somebody get a hit. So I would love to see that with these with the Casino Gauntlet. But yeah, other than that, this was actually a really good match. I think it was a good way to feature multiple guys on it that otherwise wouldn't have been, and I think the right guy won there. So
Yeah. It was a party match. It's just nothing but entrances and spots and moves. So this was really cool. I never thought of the idea though. I want the equivalent of Ryan Goings throwing an extra inning out. Honestly, like it'd be fun if like Tony came out and there was a plant in like the front row or something. Like, you fan, get in there. Like I have Santino Marella. Yeah, imagine like,
all right,
okay, but it's actually us for realsies who are being trusted to do spots. Oh my god. Maybe Matt Maverick could have pulled a spot off. Maybe.
There you go.
But
yeah, I was just thinking that because there was no like with the Royal Rumble, there's 30 guys. They never say like, there's a last number. But just with this, they don't say like, they just say, hey, until there's somebody wins, somebody will keep coming out. So I would just love the idea of like them just like backstage being like, like, do we have any ambassadors? Like, Sting, I know you're retired, but like you're here. You want to just, I think that'd be fun. One of those things where I feel like you obviously don't have to do it. But I feel like it'd be funny done once, but anytime after that, it would be very stupid. So
you should be prepared for that emergency. You don't need the 47-year-old Zamboni driver in there ever again. You need to.
I want a bullpen game for you know, all the
Oh,
starters are hurt and yeah.
this is the best idea you've ever had, Ace. And not to say you've never had good ideas
I
before,
was gonna
but
say, and that's saying something.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Ace, I think we can call this a Cup Check exclusive. I don't know if any fans happen to see this on the pay-per-view. May I be able to talk about my big brother for a moment?
You may, yeah.
Holy shit. So, this is funny. So, for those watching, like where I described kind of where we were sitting at the show. So, say if you're watching the TV broadcast, you have the center section. We're on the right of that. I'd say a section or two to the right of us, down at like the second or first row, is my brother with three of his buddies. Two of them VIPW pro wrestlers, Matt Maverick and Bushido Brown, I believe, were with them. Uh, so they're within distance of folks who happen to be entering and exiting around the crowd area. So, for context, my brother, God bless Bronin, sometimes he loves to just hate on wrestlers, and he finds something that he's just like, I don't like him, and will just go all in on hating him. And one of his wrestlers he just hates with a passion is old Daniel Garcia. Some of the reasons I've been provided is his face looks like he's going to cry all the time. He looks like just a fella. He's got no charisma and just, yeah, he just does not like Daniel Garcia.
Sure.
So Daniel Garcia is part of the Death Riders. So the Death Riders enter through the hallway on the floor level of the arena they're in, and I guess they also exit through this area too. So Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta are exiting through the crowd. I don't know what my brother said. I don't know what Bronin said. He all of a sudden looking down, and I saw Daniel Garcia near that area. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to give Daniel Garcia the business? And he does. And all I see from afar is Wheeler Yuta looking like he's screaming at the top of his fucking lungs at Bronin, fury in his eyes. And I just send a message to Bronin asking, what was that LMAO? And he said, LMAO, Garcia took a fake swing, which, hell yeah, Daniel Garcia, that's good instincts. But yeah, could
Was it
not.
one of those like made you look or made you
I believe
flinch? I
so.
really
Just
hope it was
like
one of
a,
those. Yeah.
I believe it was like a pull back. But again, I don't know what my brother said. I don't know what Wheeler Yuta said. I don't know if Yuta was shoot mad or playing the character, but or how loud he spoke. He looked legit angry from afar. I'm like, oh my fucking God. It's my brother and Daniel Garcia, and Wheeler Yuta's just there shouting at the top of his lungs. I'm like, you can't script this enough. And if you go to VIPW shows, my brother Bronin, he's like a professional heckler or a semi-pro heckler. He goes to a lot of shows and he likes to disturb shit. And I guess just like how an independent wrestler gets more reps by going in the ring, you know how to antagonize people the more you go to shows. So whatever Bronin did, I guess it just hit the right nerve with old Wheeler Yuta
He
and
knows
Dan.
what he's doing. I love Braun, but he knows what he's doing for
He
sure.
knows what he's doing, and I'll say there's not a funnier man alive than Bronin when he has a couple drinks in his systems and he's at a wrestling show and he's ready to antagonize. He told me a story because he went to All in Wembley in 2024, and it was the show where Will Ospreay in England, his home country, he's challenging MJF for the belt, and this is where MJF is doing his American exceptionalism gimmick. And Bronin is going so hard cheering for MJF that people are living like, what the fuck is this Yankees issue? And then they were stunned when his buddies said, he's actually Canadian. He's just cheering for MJF just to fuck with the people of England. And apparently, someone in the press box, they were sitting like beneath the press box. A member of the press came down from the press box and gave him a cookie because Bronin gave him such a good atmosphere of just trying to be antagonizer. So that's how good he is, folks.
It's fun, and not to get all like serious about it, but I think for him, he's a guy who's very professional in his real life, and I think it's a lot of fun for him, and that's what it is. I mean, does he get a little bit too much? Maybe sometimes, and did this weekend go maybe a little far? Sure, but like it's
I will
wrestling, it's
push.
fun.
I will.
He's just
I
there to
will.
take the piss.
I will push back. I mean, I think that the other folks took it too far. We'll get to that story eventually, but it is a wrestling show. Heckling should be a part of a wrestling show, and I know Braun does it respectful. He does it respectfully. So you know
Yeah,
what?
oh yeah.
It's just, I don't know. You marks, don't be marks. Marks, don't work yourself into shoots, marks. But yeah, no, that was hilarious. Yeah, I cannot emphasize how much I wish a camera was there. I wish the camera that was on me for Chris Jericho was on Braun and Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta at that moment in time. Oh, goodness gracious. Off to the next match. Tekla defends the AEW Women's World Championship against Jamie Hayter. I would say this probably had the less heat on the show for various reasons. One, Toni Storm was supposed to be challenging for this championship. However, she had to get pregnant and climb Mount Everest. So, well, she's not climbing Mount Everest. But I digress. So,
Sounds like she's been climbing something though. Oh,
oh, Mount Juice. Or maybe, well, yeah, you know what? Toni Storm would take control. I trust Toni Storm in that scenario to wear the pants over Juice Robinson. I would not mess
there
with
you go.
Toni. But so with no build, Jamie Hayter's just kind of challenging Tekla with no build. I don't think anyone thought that Jamie was going to win. But that being said, this is a good match because the sign of a good match is when the crowd's dead early on and they can't help but be invested at the end. So these two ladies did a very good job at getting the fans into it. Tekla plants Jamie with a DDT on the ramp, boots her into the ropes, and the gals just start beating the piss out of each other. This is great. Tekla hits a crossbody to the outside, and I did not hear this live. I saw a clip afterwards. Jamie says something along the lines of, "I need a minute." And Tekla agrees, and then Tekla moans in agony. So someone got clipped or something collided during that high cross where Jamie's like, maybe she got winded. She's like, "I need a minute." And Tekla's like, "Yeah, I need one too." Ah! I love pro wrestling so much, Ace.
It's the
So,
best and worst thing in the world.
oh, the best and the worst, but the best kind of worst, hopefully. Jamie hits a power bomb and the tombstone. Doesn't get the win. Tekla does some more kicks. Tekla rolls up Jamie Hayter and she rolls her up. She does her spider pose, her reverse bridge, kind of like what Bray Wyatt did. Grabs the ropes in the meantime. So pretty good match, but yeah, just the less heat on the show, I suppose. But
Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't do too much for me. But that was not for lack of effort. I think both of them did really well. Just yeah, I couldn't, couldn't really get into this one.
yeah. So next, John Moxley's defending the AEW Continental Championship against Will Ospreay. Before we begin, though, I need to talk about my big brother one more time. So during this match, he's not feuding with the wrestlers, he's feuding with the fans, each and every one of you. So there's like a good couple, maybe a dozen people on the floor near him who's cheering for John Moxley, who is the heel in this match, mind you. And I'm seeing Braun. He's cupping his hand around his mouth. He's bumping his fist. "Let's go, Osprey!" Or
He's getting
whatever.
very animated. Yeah.
He is remarkably animated. He's over the top. I love it. And he's going on about cheering for Will Ospreay. The fans on the floor are cheering for John Moxley. And then eventually they're chanting, "Kick this guy out. Kick this guy out." I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And so as the match ends, it's right before the semi-main. Who should come over to my brother but the fucking VPD? The police came. What?
And not
At a
Sting.
wrestling show? Give me a break.
Yeah. That was probably a bit much. I think what it was they hear something because seeing, we're above them, obviously looking down. Seeing Braun talk to the guy, I think he learned pretty quickly, like, oh, okay, he's just, But I think it's one of those things where you hear a complaint like that, and it's like, okay, well, we got to at least like do our due diligence and see what's going on. And I think that's what this was. But yeah, luckily Broden was able to stay for the main event. One thing I wanted to say real quick that was my favorite part of this match, because the match was,
Mhm.
good, but my favorite part of this match was right at the end. I've got a video on my phone because again, Braun is very animated and he moves his hands and um, where there was a video at the end of WrestleMania 39 where Roman wins and there's a Cody fan like screaming, no, no, oh, and then you see like the fireworks going off behind him. It's a great video. But this one that I got was Braun doing that, no, and he like dips his head. And then I pan over to the crowd and they're like shaking hands, they're like high fiving, they're like, it was just perfect. It was just,
Yep.
oh, so
You
that was
see,
probably my favorite part of this match.
yep, unbelievable. So Braun's a pro. God bless him. He knows his role. He didn't delay the inevitable. He didn't run away. He was devastated after Osprey lost, and the crowd let him have it. So these marks who called the police on him, you know what? They got their fair share back at him, and he took it on the chin, saying, "You know what? Don't work yourself into shoots." I remember the text message from Braun saying, "I've almost got kicked out 4 times now. The reason? They're mad I'm so loud at a fucking wrestling show. I don't know." Anyways, Anna. So to the match now, the actual match, I suppose. Will Ospreay leads off with a hidden blade to start. The crowd goes fucking nuts because it's different. It's cool. Ospreay wants to murder this Jon Moxley guy. So Ospreay goes to kick Moxley's head into the steel steps. Mox dodges. Ospreay hits his foot. And then Moxley hits the paradigm shift on the floor for the start of the main heat of the match. Mox hits a paradigm shift in the ring to counter the Os Cutter. But after Ospreay gets hit with the paradigm shift, he's standing up and with his momentum and the force of gravity, hits a hidden blade on the way down. I saw a lot of split reactions about this. And I'm like, go watch a UFC fight. Watch someone take a legit hard punch to the face and respond with another shot. I thought that spot ruled, and I think most of Vancouver agreed with me too. And Ospreay goes to roll up Moxley, but as Mox kicks out, Ospreay hits him with a Styles Clash. Love that move. Moxley then pile drives Will Ospreay on the steel stairs and almost gets the count victory. I know we don't like to see countouts in wrestling too often, but you know what? This would have been a well-earned victory via countout, but Ospreay beats the count. He's on death's door. He kicks out of a curb stomp and 2 paradigm shifts, but Moxley is no dummy. He's just gonna be like, he's not doing shocked WrestleMania kickout faces. He's like, oh, you kick out of this? I'm just gonna hit you with more stuff until you die. And he hits a Death Rider with the win with 2 minutes to spare because this was a Continental Championship match. Everyone was banned from ringside. There is a 20-minute time limit. The reason I couldn't really get quite invested into this match, and I think the reason maybe the rest of the crowd couldn't as well because this match was great, I think we were expecting a time limit draw just because it was only 20 minutes. But no, Moxley wins clean as a whistle with 2 minutes to go. Will Ospreay has some adversity on the road to All In, I suppose. But excellent match. I think if there's no 20-minute time limit, maybe it would have helped. But who am I to say?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not beating Moxley, maybe not being champion was kind of the move for him. Well, obviously it was. But I didn't like how it felt way too clean, where yeah, I would have either liked a time limit draw or, just Osprey losing clean right away. I'm not kind of like a Jericho thing. I'm not huge on that. I don't know.
A lot of heels won clean as a whistle on this show. Oddly enough, I don't think it like ruined the vibe of the crowd. Like the crowd was still hot until the end. I
No,
think
no,
everyone had
definitely
a
not.
great
Yeah.
time. The matches were great, but yeah, definitely a middle chapter kind of a wrestling show here from top to bottom. But we did get a happy ending. Even the happy ending had like a little bit of a rainy cloud over it. So the World Trios Championships are on the line. It's the Dogs of Gabe Kidd, Clark Connors, and David Finlay defending against Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and the Mystery Partners. So, Ace, I didn't watch Collision on Saturday. I saw the spoilers because I knew we wouldn't be able to watch. I was stunned when I saw that the Dogs beat Mystico, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight for the Trios Championships. I was wondering what the hell's happening. Then I saw the graphic that Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong were having a mystery partner, and I put two and two together. And I knew it was coming. I'm like, all right, I accept this. So this is a great entrance too, by the way, for Orange and Roddy. So the group they're in is the Conglomeration. Mark Briscoe, this crazy chicken farmer, started it. He's got whoever, whatever, I'm too cool for shit, Orange Cassidy in the group. He's got crazy Roddy Strong in the group. He's got all the personality in the world, Willow Nightingale in the group. He's got a mute luchador hologram. He's got Tomohiro Ishii, this guy who's as tall as Rey Mysterio, who just is a thick, sturdy Japanese guy who just hits people hard. But the last member of this conglomeration is Delta BC's own Kyle O'Reilly. And so the way they have this entrance set up, it's what you know your sitcoms, Ace. Was this like Full House? What was this sort of setup for the sitcom?
Yeah, it essentially just the throwback to those old, applause, laughter, right?
Mhm.
I thought it was really cool. And then to follow it up right afterwards too with the dogs kind of, beating up the set, and I thought it was fun. I really liked the entrances for it. So,
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, Orange Cassidy's just being lazy on the couch. Roddy comes in and does his usual scream, Orange! And Orange is in no rush to get up, and then there's a knock on the door. It's the guest cameo appearance, but it's Kyle O'Reilly's return, his first match in like 6 months after being injured. He's back in his hometown, and unfortunately, God bless these men, I missed the spot. I don't know how it happened. Gabe Kidd of the Dogs dislocates his shoulder, and he's taken out of the match through the crowd. Like, in a match, you know how, Ace, I'm sure you've had the questions like, say, if you're seeing an injury angle on a show, you've gotten the questions like, do you think that's real? If an injury is happening, typically the camera will shy away from it. And so Gabe Kidd is in the corner near the timekeepers. He has the doctor, like Dr. Michael Sampson, looking at his shoulder. They're looking at for ages and ages. Eventually, Gabe Kidd leaves through the crowd, and it's like, oh man, he got injured for realsies. And I don't know about you. I felt like this. I think the crowd felt like this. Everyone was too distracted about, oh man, Gabe Kidd is hurt. That sucks. To actually kind of really focus on the match here. And I think that kind of took people out of it.
yeah, well, what was funny at first, I think just because there was a lot going on, I didn't see Gabe Kidd like lean up for a sec. I just saw the trunks, and at first I thought it was O'Reilly. So they kind of
Oh,
like where we were sitting, we saw him from behind, and I was like, dude, are you kidding? Like, you come back and then that's horrible. And I quickly realized like, oh, okay, no, it's not that it makes it better, but I'm just like, okay, it's not O'Reilly. And then it's just like, man, poor guy, especially with I mean, even though obviously O'Reilly just came back, they just came, they're a new thing. So yeah, that was tough. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery and he comes back better than ever. But yeah, it happens and it's just unfortunate to see.
yeah, I hate to see it. And he was like in a big angle in New Japan Pro Wrestling too, where he's the outsider who's pro AEW after being overly pro New Japan before. So
Right.
he got pulled from a show recently. So yeah, speedy recovery, Gabe Kidd. And speaking of Kyle O'Reilly, though, he's a pro, and I think, shout out to our friend Alex, she knows this before I did. Kyle O'Reilly is just on the outside selling for ages and ages. I think he was selling for like maybe 5 minutes or something because these guys are pros. They realized if we're up 3-2 on the heels, we're not going to be baby faces. So Kyle's basically takes himself out of the match, which is unfortunate because this is his return match, basically to keep the psychology all together. But eventually, Kyle gets the win. He puts Clark Connors in the ankle lock, gets him to tap out. New Trios champions. This is a great moment. At least if we had one Canadian win in Vancouver, it was the Vancouver guy, I suppose.
It's
Welcome back,
true. That's
Kyle.
a good point.
Mhm.
100%.
Yep. And also, I think it was just a month prior. Go check out Kyle O'Reilly's Instagram report because pardon me, his Instagram post. It makes you appreciate. So it makes you appreciate him, I suppose. So his father passed away like a month or so ago, and he goes on talking about his story, like how he was like a craftsman by trade. He worked on BC ferries for ages and ages, and it's a story that if you've grown up in BC, you can kind of relate to it. And
That's good. I
yeah,
had no idea he was with BC Ferries. It's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, just like about a month or so ago, passed away, and AEW since released a video after Kyle won. He is bawling his eyes out because think about him a couple months ago. He was in the middle of a push. He beat John Moxley twice. He gets injured. His father passes away during that time, and he comes back and from his hometown to win a championship. So hell yeah, Kyle O'Reilly. By all accounts, seems like the greatest guy, nicest guy in the world too. So hell yeah, we dig that. I can't say enough good things. All right, to the main event. Since the inception of Cup Check Wrestling, I have been waiting for this. MJF defending the AEW Men's World Championship against Kenny Omega. They build up the God of Pro Wrestling versus the Devil theme with special entrances. Kenny Omega has like this Final Fantasy epic godlike entrance. MJF, he comes out. He's on a throne. He's got the special violin music or string orchestra music. He's got a crown and he's got a cape or jacket or something with like the upside down cross because he's the devil. Uh, I think Vancouver's mostly behind Kenny, 75%. We had like a couple behind us that bought like 4 MJF shirts. I don't know who they all bought them for,
Yeah.
but they were
Clearly, he's big in their
very much,
family.
they were very much behind MJF here. Yeah, I like this. You know what? I think they made the right call. Like, there were a couple of storylines going into this match. One was in Winnipeg, MJF brought out his American exceptionalism character, and not that he was a babyface or anything, but I didn't think this particular match needed Canada versus USA. And then they were talking about Kenny Omega recovering from diverticulitis because he did almost die for realsies, but they made that less of a focal point. Instead of Kenny Omega might die, it's like, I'll be fine though. It's not like working any other part of your body. So they did drop both of those. Ace, you've become a theater kid again recently. I think you can attest to theater kids wanting everything to be just right with all the perfect minute details. I saw the entrance. There's a cool shot during Kenny Omega's entrance where Max is sitting on the top turnbuckle, but with the way the camera was located, it made it look like he was the devil on his shoulder. So,
Oh, it's cool. See, I haven't been able to go back yet and watch the pay-per-view on TV. That's I like that. That's really cool.
hell yeah. This was the only match I've gone and rewatched. So, because here's the thing. I wanted to see this match so bad. I didn't take pictures, vids, or notes. I was in the moment, and not only was I in the moment, I wanted Kenny Omega to win so bad. I was living and dying. So I bet like this is like the first show I hardly took any pics or videos or notes. I find my memory is not the best. Maybe the beers have a reason for that too, but I couldn't quite recall everything, but I remember living and dying by everything though. So for the purpose of this podcast, I rewatched this match. Ah, shucks, I gotta watch great wrestling. My steak is too buttery. Actually, no, my steak is too juicy. Lobster's too buttery. Butter's good on steak too, though, right?
Oh, it is, especially garlic butter.
Ooh. Okay, forget the podcast. Let's just go to Keg or something. Let's find
Oh,
some
yeah?
steakhouse. All right, so to start the match, the referee Bryce Remsburg. We talk about dumb refs all the time, Ace. This guy is not dumb. He just straight up asked MJF, "Give me the diamond ring. Give me your dynamite diamond ring." And MJF obliges. He reaches into his crotch and his trunks, pulls out the diamond ring, and then he tells Vancouver to shut the fuck up. This is perfect already.
As
So,
one does, you know.
yep. So, yeah, I'm sure maybe MJF is like maybe he's an Oilers fan deep down. Well, I know he's an Islanders fan, but I'm sure many Oilers fans or Leafs fans over the years told Canucks fans to shut the fuck up in that building too. So, what are you gonna do?
I'm sure in 1980, they told them to shut the fuck up as well.
Ooh, right. Ah, man. That means, you know what? This is the worst loss to a Long Island sports person or organization in Vancouver history. Nothing comes close.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
even
that was by far. That's the other New York team though. We don't think about that.
fuck them. Alrighty. Yeah, New York is 2-0 against us in the finals, in the Stanley Cup finals. Jesus. So, before these two even lock up, there's holy shit chance. Vancouver is ready for this match. They were followed up by "You've got hair plugs chance at MJF. He will get those for the rest of his life." So
Brooke said that was mean. I just thought I should let you guys know that.
fair play to be devil's advocate. And I think that your dad would probably say this too. Hasn't he kind of earned it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you know what? His hair's looking a lot better now. Much better than when he first came back.
I don't. Okay, this is very off topic. I don't like it. I don't know what it. Maybe just the way he wears it now, like that weird slicked back, pushed back. Fucking
It's it's a
yeah,
little
not a
better.
fan of it.
It was way slick back. Like it was like he was in the Tim Robinson skit about being a piece
Yeah,
of shit. Oh, you think this is slick back? This is pushed back. His was completely slick back. That he looked like CM Punk cosplay when he came back. I did not like that. This is more acceptable. I mean, I don't know. It's better. I mean, I miss his original hair, but you know what? If his receding hairline was going to go into business for itself, I guess this is a nice way to meet in the middle, I suppose.
fair enough. Yeah.
Mhm. So after some spots on the outside, Kenny brings out a table, puts on top of MJF, and hits a double stomp from the apron on the table onto MJF. He then sets up said table. Now look, I love this match with all my heart. I lived and died on it in the arena. I loved it when I rewatched it. My one critique of this match is setting up this table this early, 5 minutes in or whatever it was, and going 40 minutes. And my reason for this is, Ace, I'm not sure if you had a better view, but we were like the 11th row. This table was right below the apron. I could not see this table, and because I was so invested in this match, I forgot about the table. I had to be reminded twice, once by Kama, once by Alex, that this table is existing. And while I couldn't see the table, most of this arena could see the table, and wrestling fans are smart. You're not setting up a table if you're not going to break it. And these guys went too long without breaking said table. That I think that's why during the key near falls later in the match, people weren't maybe as living and dying by it as I was because they know that table's coming. So these guys are better at wrestling than I'll ever be. But if I could change one thing, that table I think was a little bit of a hindrance. I don't know how you felt about it.
Yeah. I was in the same boat, and I did remember it. I don't know. I'm usually big on like, okay, well now it won't end until and yeah, it's one of those things where you're right. You're not going to bring out a table if it's not going to get broken. So you're kind of waiting for that to happen. As we would see in the end, it does, but it does take you out of the near falls beforehand.
Yeah, if you have it early, I think you can like I love a table spot that you completely forget where the table exists. It's great. You if you have it that early, you would almost need it for the heat, like a pivotal turning point, or you need to introduce it a little bit later if it was part of the finish. 30 plus minutes is a very long time to let that thing linger. It's lingering more than the cranberries. It's just great tune.
Great tune. Insane tune.
All right. So there is a lot of back and forth throughout the match, but especially in the first 15 or so minutes. If this was a UFC fight and we had judges, I think this crowd, these judges would score it 10-9. It's 10-9 for Kenny, I should say. It's back and forth, but I would say Kenny Omega's winning this match. He's sort of in control. The first pivotal spot, though, is Kenny Omega going for the one-winged angel and Max countering with a reverse Hurricane Rana. Max then hits the Panama Sunrise, his destroyer where he jumps from the middle rope. It's the move of his former enemy turned BFF turned enemy again, Adam Cole. And while selling this move, Kenny has the wherewithal to hit a V trigger. And this is why I love Kenny Omega. He is not only so talented and can, like, if you call a spot, he can in all likelihood hit it. He can pace a match well. Like, this match went 40 minutes. I felt like it flew by to me. Not once did I really feel like it was dragging, despite the lack of suspense with the near falls with that fucking table there. But Kenny, he can just lay out a match so well. And I think these guys were milking every spot for all it's worth. So,
I think for me, the only thing I could kind of feel it maybe some more so with the crowd, not so much that this match was lagging or this match was going too long, but just because the show was already so long. I know
mhm.
for me, by the time we were at even the conglomeration match, I was like, okay, let's come on, let's send this home so we can get to the main event. But MJF is one of those guys, right? I remember Austin used to always talk about if you want to make it in the WWF at that point, you need to be able to work that 20-minute main event. They always talked about that 20-minute main event. Max does that consistently, but these matches are like 40. And they don't the only time or the only reason I was gonna say they feel like they drag, I think, is because especially if you're on the East Coast, it's already going so late, right? So if your match or if your main event's not even starting until 11:30 and it's an MJF match, or you're like, okay, well, we're in for it now. But he's just got that style down so well. Saw it with his first title reign. And I have seen it now, obviously, with Hangman and now with Kenny here. And he's a pro at it. It's great.
These two are the men. And to that I say, West Coast, Best Coast. There's
Oh
no
God, are you kidding?
going
Oh
here
man.
to midnight.
Yeah. 9:30 we got out of there. Even the Vegas show, I remember saying that to a buddy because Punk and Hangman went forever. And it was like 9:45. I was like, it's 9:45 though. And then we went out after because it's Vegas, right? So it's
Yep.
it's not 1 a.m. So
Great stuff. So back to the match. Kenny goes to the top rope, hits a moonsault on the outside like his best friend forever, Kota Ibushi. So the first time MJF really starts to target Kenny's midsection because he almost died of diverticulitis. He hits 2 kitchen sink knees about 25 minutes in. Max is screaming, "Is your stomach hurt?" while punching Kenny repeatedly in the gut. Kenny hits a missile drop kick in between MJF's shoulders. I love that spot so much. And now it feels like we're really getting into near falls territory. Now I'm like really locked in, like thinking like, okay, now shit matters here. We're in the deep waters here. MJF is going for a tombstone off the middle rope. Kenny gets off and hits a knee when MJF tries to pivot into a Panama Sunrise. Kenny climbs to the second rope while carrying MJF on his shoulders. MJF almost falls off forward, but he saves himself by like kind of grabbing like the turnbuckle or like the bar between the post and the turnbuckle. Kenny then hits a one-winged angel from the middle ropes. I would never take this move in a million years. I value my neck too much. So the story with Kenny's move is his one-winged angel. I think it's been kicked out of once decades ago when it wasn't protected, but the story is nobody kicks out of the one-winged angel. So he does it from the middle rope. There's that little brief feeling of like, oh shit, he's gonna win. But Kenny is selling his midsection because he had diverticulitis and almost died. And he takes like a dozen seconds to recover. He's crawling to MJF, but MJF rolls out of the ring. It is not the finish yet. MJF is going for Crossroads, his former buddy mentor turned rival Cody Rhodes. Fans are now chanting for the table. They remember that table exists and they want to see that table get used now. Kenny counters that, hits a V trigger in the corner and a snapdragon suplex and another V trigger for a near fall. Kenny goes for the one-wing angel again, but MJF hits the Crossroads for realsies this time and a package pile driver for a great near fall. MJF starts pounding away at Kenny, but Kenny's responding with some good old-fashioned kickboxing. Kenny's going for the one-winged angel again. MJF gets off, and he pulls the referee into oncoming traffic as Kenny's going for the V-trigger, so the referee's knocked out. MJF is grabbing this dynamite diamond ring from Bryce Remsburg's pocket. He hit Kenny with a low blow before, and as soon as MJF... We talked about how long the show match and how long this match went. As soon as MJF hit Kenny with that low blow, these fans were back into it. They were furious. I'm not sure if it was a dastardly tact heat, or fuck off, don't give us a fuck finish heat. I don't know which one it was, but it worked though. These fans were locked in afterwards. So Kenny ducks a punch with the Dynamite Diamond ring. He then hits a knee. He does get the one-winged angel in the ring. The ref is out though, so it's the longest count. The crowd's chanting 1, 2. Eventually they count to 12 before another referee sprints to the ring in time. So technically MJF kicks out of the one-winged angel, but it's not like a typical 1, 2, 3. And I knew it, and he did do it on Wednesday. He said, I kicked out of the one-winged angel. It was nothing. This fucking bastard, fuck him. The crowd chant for the table again. Kenny is signaling for the table. He's about to hit the one-winged angel through said table, but his midsection gives weight. He tries to do it again, but MJF hits him in the ribs with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. MJF then finally gets the Tombstone Pile Driver through the table. He then immediately follows through with a Heat Seeker Pile Driver from the middle ropes, and he gets the win. And I'm devastated. And the show goes off the air with MJF sitting, going back up the ramp, sitting on his throne, putting on his crown, looking into the camera and saying, "You are not on the level with the devil," and throws up the devil horns, and his throne goes back to hell where he came from. Because he's a theater kid, and he's a theater kid who broke my heart and beat Kenny Omega in Vancouver. An excellent match, but I felt like a kid again, but a devastated kid nonetheless.
Yeah, I don't know. And I know you're just going to say discretion, but even like the table again threw me off because that is technically a weapon. I don't know. It's
Here's
just
okay.
my 2 cents on it.
My take, my take on that. I think if you use an inanimate object as a weapon, if a table happens to be there, is it any different than a guardrail if you're doing a dive to the outside? Because if
I
you're
guess you could say that, yeah, because the announce table doesn't count as a DQ.
Mhm.
Maybe I just think because you go under the ring for a table. Like if you were to
Yes.
pick up the table and hit Kenny with it, okay. But
Yes.
if his just happens to be within his space when he tombstones him, okay, maybe that makes me feel better actually. That
Or
was
my
one thing where I was like,
Yeah, and I don't think there's ever been an official rule on that because in Japan, for example, it'll be the referee's discretion. But I don't know if there's ever been a rule, but that's why I've always convinced myself it's not a weapon because I view a weapon as something that you're using to hit someone with. If you're just happen to go through, I don't know, it's as legal as a headlock. I don't know, maybe
yeah,
I'm just
you see that a
getting
lot. They'll throw them into the stairs and or throw them on the stairs, and that's not a weapon. But if you pick up the stairs and hit the guy with it, that is a weapon. So okay,
yes.
all right.
There we go.
So wait, so if you put a chair on the ground and you like choke slam somebody onto a chair, that's not a DQ?
I don't think that'd be a DQ then.
So Eddie Guerrero didn't cheat when he won the world title from Brock Lesnar because he DDT'd him on the title, but he didn't
Yeah,
hit him with the title.
I
So
would say
Taz
that's
was
not a DQ.
wrong when he screamed Eddie Guerrero cheated with that move. He did not cheat, good sir.
I think Taz was remarkably biased for Brock Lesnar that night as well. So
What night wasn't he?
that's neither here nor there. So MJF, of course, like we talked about him losing the belt to Darby. Kenny Omega was shown. I guess they taped like the post reaction to Dynamite to Dynasty on Dynamite, where he and Will Ospreay are talking. They're both sad. Kenny's saying, "Maybe I just can't be that guy anymore," and Will's basically rallying him up to go. You can't be the man. You're my hero. I don't know about you. This screamed to me Wembley or maybe the Owen Hart finals. I think we're getting a match between these two. That was the impression I was left with. But
Oh yeah, writing's on the wall for that, for sure.
yep. But yeah. So that was Dynasty, and despite all the Canadians losing, the crowd left relatively happy though. Everyone was sad that MJF won. Most people are sad, but it's not like people left like that show fucking sucked or whatever. Uh, I thought it was a great show. I had so much fun. Again, cannot emphasize how much fun we had or how much
Oh
fun
yeah.
I had.
No, that was a really good time. Like I said, other than the few booking decisions that kind of left
Mhm.
me scratching my head, I think from top to bottom it was a stellar show. Maybe a bit long, but again, like you said, being on the West Coast, we definitely don't feel that as much as our East Coast brothers and sisters. So sucks to be
Yeah.
them, I guess. I got a lot of family in Toronto, so
We're better than
yeah,
them,
screw
and
'em.
they know it. Oh God. But yeah, no. And you know what, Ace? I don't know if we'll this is gonna be a cup check guarantee from me. I don't know if it'll be next year, but I guarantee I bet dollars to donuts we're getting a pay-per-view again because this Tony Khan loves loud crowds. And this is a loud crowd of 9,000 plus. Like the reason he likes to go to St. Louis for pay-per-views is because okay, it's like 5,000, 6,000, but it's a very loud crowd. And if you have people enjoying your product, it makes it seem like it's hot and other people want to go to it. So I think we left a good impression on this show. The show is great. The crowd is great. I think we're going to do this again sooner rather than later. I guarantee it.
Even a Dynamite in Victoria would be fun, you know?
Ooh, I'd
It'd be down for
fly
that.
up for that. Or maybe if WCW Thunder can do a show in Kamloops,
There
maybe.
you go. Yeah. Stranger things have happened.
Absolutely. But we'll get to that when we come to it. But shows that will be coming soon from our local independent scenes. So first we got Thrash Wrestling, Skullduggery in the interior in Nelson, BC at 801 Railway Street. This is taking place Friday, April 17th at 7 p.m. And sticking to the interior next week, Thrash Wrestling K-Town Contra 3, Friday, April 24th at 7:30 p.m. from the Rutland Arena in Kelowna, BC. Former WWE and TNA star Brian Kendrick will be on the show. The week after that, here in the Loops in Kamloops, Friday, May 1st at 7 p.m. from Moccasin Square Gardens on the Kamloops Reserve, Icing on the Cake. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to that show, but I will be going to this show. Friday, May 8th, Thrash Wrestling Running Wild from the Luso Canadian Multicultural Society in Penticton. I'm going to visit some old college friends who live in Penticton that weekend. I saw this was happening. I said, "Want to get a show? I'll get your tickets." And they're both big anime fans. And always hear like the description that wrestling's just redneck anime. I figured, let's see if that theory can go into practice. And they want to go to the show, so hopefully you'll have a good time there.
It will go to practice.
And then the day after that, Saturday, May 9th at 7 p.m. from the Revelstoke Forum in Revelstoke, BC, Thrash Wrestling Cliffhanger. And we've got a new show. This is not your typical show at a Joe Blow at a recreation center or something like that. This is Thrash Wrestling Super Evil Bloody Death Hell Elimination Tournament 23. Did you get all that, Ace?
I haven't seen the first 22, but I'm sure they were fantastic.
Hell yeah. So this is taking place Saturday, June 27th at 3 in the afternoon. It's taking place at Ashton Creek in Enderby. So here's the lore. The Super Evil Bloody Death Hell Elimination Tournament returns to Enderby. It's in memorial of Thrash Wrestling's friends Daryl Dale, who, with him and his wife Tracy, they're owners of the property in Ashton Creek near Enderby, and they would host some of Thrash's earliest backyard wrestling events. So they were backyarders before going to like cultural centers or legions, etc., etc. And they emphasize this event is not for the weak of heart. Please do not bring small children. This is the annual hardcore tournament that hasn't been held on the property since 2005, a once in a 21-year kind of event. And with live music and food vendors, ticket information will follow in the coming weeks. I've seen a lot of independent promotions have these kind of death tournaments, if you will. You can't really have it in an arena per se, but a lot of times they'll go to some property in the boonies, have an ambulance on site, and yeah, people just drive out in the middle of nowhere to watch a deathmatch tournament. And Thrash is going to be having that on the 27th of June, Saturday at 3 in the afternoon, because you need to still be in daylight, I suppose. I don't know if I'll go to this one. I don't know. That's a drive. And also, I've seen some gross wrestling in my life, like the Hangman Swerve Strickland death match in Los Angeles, for example. I was still relatively far away. I don't know if my stomach can really handle being that close to some of the stuff we'll see. But for all you sickos out there who love deathmatch wrestling, that's going to be taking place. Ace, would you go to a deathmatch show?
Yeah.
Are you calling me a bitch then?
Oh, no, well, yeah, no. Yes, I was. No, it doesn't bug me too. It's funny. We were watching recently, Brooke and I, The Pit, and there was a scene where there was like a flap of skin on someone's head that had opened, and I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But wrestling, I don't know. Maybe there's been very few, I think, wrestling ones where I've like had to like look away, or maybe Orton's head after the Lesnar elbows was one of
Oh,
them.
yeah, that was a
But
nasty
there's very
little.
few times I think in wrestling when I've just had to like, been like, oh no, that's too much.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. I think the one thing that still gets me, whatever it is, like some glass pots, it depends, but I think it's if you're using a shard glass for a weapon or a pizza cutter. I think those are the things that like, brother, I don't
The
think I can do that.
syringe, actually, yeah. The in Hangman's Mouth,
Hangman
that was
MJF.
one where I was like, that was probably one I could have done without. Or Hardy's ear a couple years ago with Orton when he had the
Mhm.
stretcher in it. That was another one where I was like, okay, I probably could do without that one too.
But that one's just an earlobe, though. That's just like ear fat. That one shouldn't be that
I
painful,
know,
though.
but it's yeah. Well, that's the thing. I know that's why they did it because I know a lot of the nerves go away too once you stretch it like that. But I don't know. Maybe just I've seen those old like what do you call it, like the Guinness World Record books where you'll see like it's
Oh
just yeah.
God,
I've never been a fan of the stretching of the ears.
yeah. That and anything with fingernails or toenails and teeth, it's just a sensitive area, so I don't really want to.
Okay.
Actually, one was like it was a totally safe spot, like they totally worked me, but was the Darby Allin John Moxley I Quit match where John Moxley takes a skewer, and I guess the visual he's trying to present is he's trying to rip out Darby's fingernail, and I had to look away because
Yeah.
I don't want to lose my fingernails, and I that one felt a little too real for me, but of course they just fucking worked me, so I'm a mark, but I don't know. The deathmatch tournament seems very fun. I just don't know if I want to make that kind of a drive. And in the interior, it could be wildfire season, full steam ahead. So, but if you're into deathmatch wrestling, get a ticket rather than not, and details will be available in the coming weeks. Ace, let's go to your neck of the woods. Vancouver Island Pro Wrestling is coming to Duncan at the Mellor Hall at the Cowex Grounds Saturday, April 25th at 6:30 p.m. The following month, Friday, May 22nd at 6:30 p.m., VIPW is coming back to Victoria at the Centennial United Church. Pardon me, the Centennial United Gym, Jiminy Christmas. That's Friday, May 22nd at 6:30 p.m. And then in Nanaimo, the show before WrestleFest, Saturday, May 23rd at 6:30 p.m. from the Centennial Building in Nanaimo. And the granddaddy of them all, WrestleFest 3, Friday, June 19th at 6:30 p.m. from the Frank Crane Arena in Nanaimo, an interpromotional tables, ladders, and chairs match. Oh my! Going to the Lower Mainland, All Star Wrestling is presenting two shows. First, we got ASW WrestleFest Forever. Man, DJ Laredo, get on that, get that lawyer, brother. They're stealing your name. I'm kidding. It's going to be at the West Langley Hall in Langley on May the 9th. And then about a week or so after that, ASW is coming back to Evergreen Hall in Chilliwack on May 15th. Sticking in the Lower Mainland, Boom Pro Wrestling has a quartet of shows in the near future. Road to the Commodore, Phoenix Rising. That's Friday, April 24th from the Commercial Drive Legion, third floor in Vancouver from 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. They're doing the same thing again tomorrow. Road to the Commodore, Twin Fang. That's Saturday, April 25th from 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. from the Commercial Drive Legion. Kids League Night 8, that's Saturday, May 9th from 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. from St. James Community Square in Vancouver. And then finally, Boom Pro Wrestling, the biggest one, 2026, Saturday, July 25th, 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. from the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver. Staying in the Lower Mainland, Big West Wrestling, Slash and Burn, that's Saturday, May 16th at 6:30 p.m. from the Sullivan's Community Association in Surrey. Going to Northern BC, Primetime Wrestling, Friday, May 15th and Saturday, May 16th, 5:45 p.m. starts for both nights at the Prince George Civic Center in Prince George in Northern BC. Tapped Wrestling Federation Pro Wrestling, Bash at the Row, Saturday, July 4th at 7 p.m. from 3012 Murray Street in Port Moody, BC. Apex Wrestling, Highway to Hell, Friday, May 8th at 7 p.m. from Hastings Casino in Vancouver. I tried to pitch this event as at work, sometimes you have like team building exercises or events or whatever. I pitched this to my colleagues. I haven't gotten a yes, but not a no yet. Midget Midget Wrestling Warriors in Merritt, BC at the Civic Center, Sunday, May 17th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. They're going as long as Dynasty in Vancouver, brother. 5 to 10 p.m. in Merritt there.
It's a marathon.
Oh, heck yeah. And then finally, we got 365 Pro Wrestling going back to the island. We have Saturday, April 18th in Comox, BC at the Little Red Church from 6:30 p.m. And it just says ongoing. They could just go on forever and ever like a Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal. They could just be throwing blokes in there until the end of time. But
Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, but wow, 5 to 10, that show sure isn't going short.
hey!
Hey, you got it. There you go.
Alrighty, so God. Send your complaints to Corey Trelaw at
There you go. Yeah.
cupchuckwrestling.com. So yeah, Saturday, April 18th, Comox, BC, the Little Red Church. That's 365 Pro Wrestling. The week after that, they're going to Campbell River, Saturday, April 25th at 6:30 p.m. from Willow Point Hall in Campbell River. And also on April 25th, in Victoria, at the First Met Hall, April 25th, 6:30 p.m. And then finally, King of the Island 2026 on Saturday, May 9th at 6:30 p.m. from First Met Hall in Victoria, BC. So, support your local indies. You may see the next enhancement talent on AEW pay-per-views there, or maybe just the next future stars in wrestling in all likelihood. So, there is that. Now, Ace, I can't believe that's WrestleMania weekend and it wasn't the lead for this podcast, but now is the time to make some predictions. We've got cards. We've got one
We do.
show that is ass, according to Pat McAfee, and one show that he needs to offer you a 25% discount to go see, I suppose. WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 going in Las Vegas. Before we get into predictions, what are your vibes to lock in for a weekend of WrestleMania here? Where are the vibes going in with this build?
Yeah, the main event is definitely a bit I don't know. Usually I'm a bit more hype. But I know once the show starts, I'll be into it. It's just one of those things. I don't know if it's the pageantry but once something like this gets going, all that other stuff from before is just, that being said, the matches themselves will have to deliver and we'll see how that plays out. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Interesting, a little smaller than I thought. Just with 6 matches on the one night and 7 on the other. No pun intended. But but yeah, couple notable absences from the card, but a 3-hour pre-show for both nights, which is a bit of a head scratcher to me. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely been other manias that I've been more excited for, but once this gets going, I know I'll be into it too. So
Yeah, like I think WrestleMania over the years has lost its luster a little bit because one, I just look, I understand the whole idea about not wanting to sit through a 5-hour show. I get it. I don't want to have to book a whole weekend for a wrestling event either, too. I would rather have one 5-hour show than 2 days of 4 hours, but ideally, just one 4-hour show would be great, or 5 hours, or whatever it's going to be. But we've got 2 shows here, and maybe there's no matches on the pre-show because we need panel discussion, brothers, and maybe some more Dude Wipes commercials, dude. But yeah, it's interesting. I think right now, I will say, Sunday looks like a pretty good card. Saturday, hopefully they can deliver. Yeah, I don't know. I think Pat McAfee may have gotten his days wrong. I mean, God bless that day one card. It's looking borderline skippable almost. But I don't know. It's WrestleMania, and I know there's been other stadium shows like AEW has All In, and even WWE having like SummerSlam get 50 or 60,000. So the spectacle of a stadium show is no longer there, but there's many times that WrestleMania's had terrible builds, and even the shows at WrestleMania haven't been good, but it's just the spectacle of it all. It's like, shoot, okay, I can lock in for a couple hours here. So hopefully we got a good weekend here, but let's get to
I'm
some
seeing a lot of that
predictions.
discourse real quick too, even just where they say that about, like something like WrestleMania 17, where everyone, of course, that's like the mecca of pro wrestling or WWF from that time period. And, people are quick to point out that like that whole Austin Rock feud was built around Deborah, right? So the build doesn't always matter. But I don't know if this match or sorry, if this show will reach 17 nights, but we'll see.
Yeah, even the last WrestleMania I went to, 31 in 2015, in the Bay Area, that build-up was terrible. That was regarded as one of the better WrestleManias of all time, too, with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns doing a great job and the heist of the century with Seth Rollins cashing the Money in the Bank at the end. So hopefully, any talents who have chips on their shoulder, hopefully they stand up and deliver. But we got some predictions to make here. So uh, we have a six-man tag team match. It's The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory teaming with streamer I Show Speed, taking on the Usos and LA Knight. Main event, Jey Uso wins the world title 1 year, and now he's with I Show Speed. Rest in yeet. Uh, what do you think, Ace? Who's winning this? Does it
Yeah.
matter?
Um, I, I think you really could go either way. I'd like to say LA Knight gets the pin. Um, but we know with their fandom for celebrities that anything could happen. But I don't know. I think LA Knight will get the win here, hopefully. I don't suspect this to go super long either. But it should be a fine little match.
Yeah, this will be a fun little spectacle. I think the heels will win because I think we saw like I Show Speed on Raw did not want to be affiliated with Division. He kind of accidentally helped them win the tag team championships over the Usos. I think they'll continue that here. I Show Speed slips on banana peel, accidentally gets the win, and the story will continue. All right. I'm looking forward to this match though. Like of the matches on night one, I'd say this is the match I'm looking forward to the second most. Jacob Fatu taking on my beloved losing loser who does nothing but lose, but I do kind of love him deep down. Drew McIntyre. It is an unsanctioned match. I have hopes for this one. Both these guys could have been in the WWE Championship picture. They're not. Do they feel like they've got something to prove, or do they have boo boo face? I'm hoping it's the former. I'm hoping this is a crazy match. Uh, Maybe they feel they need to give Drew something. I'm gonna go with Jacob Fatu here. I think that they need stars. I think they like Jacob. They just haven't pulled the trigger yet. I think now's the time to give him another big win and hopefully get him right back on track.
Yeah, I got Jacob winning this. And you're right. I think this will be a good match. And who knows? Maybe as much as we wanted to see, especially Drew, where we felt like he might have gotten screwed. Maybe it's for the best because they don't have to deal with that mess going on right now.
Hmm. Yeah, no, they got a dodge there, brother. Drew, if you losing gets you away from that, keep losing, brother. I'll never bet against you when it comes to losing. I love you, Drew. Uh the WWE Women's World Championship is on the line. Stephanie Vecchia defending against Liv Morgan. I think Stephanie retains this. I don't know. I've never been able to sink my teeth in this feud for this, well, really since Liv has won the Royal Rumble. I think Liv is presented as a character at this point in time where it felt like they were hinting her and the Judgment Day feuding with Finn Balor more than her feud with Stephanie Vecchia. That's at least my perspective. I don't think she needs this belt. I think there's more there with Stephanie Vecchia still. I think she should retain and continue to try and have as best a championship reign as she can possibly be, or as she can possibly have. My apologies.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think Stephanie's retaining here. Funny enough, I was able to kind of get into it after nothing that they had planned, but after the big goose egg uh, from the messed
Oh
up
my!
headbutt. They say I don't know. Yeah, that again, not that they planned that, but after that, I was looking a bit more forward to the match. I thought Liv looked crazy this last week, which was great. But that being said, yeah, I don't know. I think there's also more for them to tell with Judgment Day versus Liv, and I don't know if that needs the title. I think in that case, keep running with Stephanie, see what else she can do, and yeah, no, I think she'll retain here.
Going back to the topic of death matches here, real quick. Nothing makes me cringe more than loud head-on-head contact.
Oh yeah.
I heard like when Steph shoves Liv into Roxanne or vice versa, that clunk, I gasped, I shrieked, I curled up into a fetal position. I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, that mark that just bulged out of both their faces. It's why I can never like watch the Katsuyori Shibata Kazuchika Okada headbutt where Shibata almost died after. It's like, I don't know. Headbutts are just, yeah, no, I just don't want to picture it. I don't like the sound of it. I don't want to picture skulls cracking. Just, ugh. That is mine.
No,
No,
no.
no, no death match can beat that for me. Uh, Sticking on with the women's train, AJ Lee defending the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. I love both these women's. I'm hoping and praying that this turns out well. I'm not overly optimistic. I do think that Becky wins this match because I think AJ, she's not going to be around as much. Becky is going to get her win back. It was a nice little moment for AJ to win in Chicago. She needs more reps to get back up to speed. And without that Chicago crowd, I think this match may be struggling a little bit. I'm hoping for the best. I think Becky gets that belt back, though.
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree with everything there. I don't see Becky not winning it back here. And yeah, the match it'll be fine. I think just for me, I'm not huge on rematches at WrestleMania because it feels like we just got it on the show that wasn't WrestleMania. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hopeful. But yeah, I got Becky retaining, or sorry, Becky winning the title back.
Fair play. Well, if you don't like matches with 2 women, how about 8 women? It's the irresistible forces of Nia Jax and Lash Legend defend the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships in a 4-way match against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and the Bella Twins. I think they would like to put the belts on the Bellas. However, it's up in the air if Nikki Bella will be good or not for the show. So I will play with the safe option here. I think Nia and Lash will retain. And I'm typically not just a big fan of 4-ways. I think it's just a little formulaic. There's too many bodies in there. I think these gals will do a pretty good job, though. You got some good workers in there, and Bayley and Lyra and Charlotte. Nia and Lash Legends are huge, so hopefully there's some good power spots. But I think the irresistible forces will keep these belts here.
Yeah, if the Bellas are available, I think they're winning it. But if not, I feel like they just play it safe and keep it with the irresistible forces.
Mhm. Now, I can't believe how, as much as I rolled my eyes first here into this match, I'm all in now. Seth Rollins taking on Gunther because,
Oh, buddy.
oh yeah, because here's the thing, Ace. How convoluted have these main event angles been? Especially the one involving Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton and Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll. Sometimes you just need some good old-fashioned simple storytelling. So of course, Gunther comes in. He's attacking Seth Rollins. He's basically telling Paul Heyman, "You owe me one." And then he's basically just telling Seth Rollins face to face, "I hate hearing about how you're the best. I'm the best. And these two are just going to fight now." Hell yeah.
Sometimes it
I
really
think
is
that
just that easy.
it really is. Wrestling's really not that fucking hard sometimes. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not that hard. I will
Yeah.
attest to that. But I think, I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes Seth Rollins, here's the thing. I don't think Seth is like one of the best. I think he's a little unfairly maligned. He's gets more criticism than I think he deserves, but I do not necessarily think he's the best, but he can still pull it out. He can still pull out the pre-back and knee injury magic every now and then. I think he'll be motivated here. Gunther's just a pro's pro, an all-time great worker. I think they'll have a fantastic match here. I think Gunther wins with shenanigans, though, because if Braun Breaker is good to go, maybe you need another reason to start that feud again with Seth Rollins. So I'm predicting Gunther with shenanigans.
Yeah, especially because you know how they never, want to have an actual payoff to a match. And so if Gunther wins, I think there's got to be something, or just so it doesn't make Seth look dumb. And but that being said, I do think this has the possibility to be match of the weekend, and I'm hopeful it is. But yeah, I got Gunther winning as well.
Yeah, I mean, why would we ever expect clean finishes at the biggest show of the year? That should be the season
Well,
finale.
how are you supposed to buy the next one, right?
Ah, and just subscribe to Netflix, I suppose, or find
No.
a way to subscribe to the ESPN app if you're in the States, which is apparently a tough task. But oh god, the main event of night one. So Cody Rhodes is defending the WWE Championship against Randy Orton. If Randy Orton loses, Pat McAfee will leave professional wrestling permanently. Maybe the stipulation gets changed by Friday Night SmackDown, the go home show. I think they kind of gave away what's going to happen. I'm hoping for a merciful end to this program, to this feud. Unfortunately, I think this is just the beginning. I think Randy Orton is winning this WWE Championship, and Pat McAfee is going to hold us hostage.
Yeah, yeah, locked in. Because I think it's going to be very similar to what we did with Cena last year. I think Orton's going to win it, and then Cody's going to chase it for a bit. And are you enjoying the show? Yeah, I got Randy winning number 15, which will be cool for him. Grant, but yeah,
And it'll probably lead to, from what it stands right now, Cody Rhodes teaming up with Jelly Roll at Backlash to take on Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. So this
fuck yeah.
this reign might not even just be like a quick one and done reign, not a quick month and done. This will continue without a resolution in the short term.
I figure they're probably going in Italy too.
Oh, I'm thinking maybe beyond that. I'm thinking maybe SummerSlam.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, because you gotta drag it out, right? So
I can't wait to not watch it.
well, we'll be watching it for coverage.
Yes, we will, but yeah, no, I'm just gonna keep my Schadenfreude, Schadenfreude. I still can't say the word. I'll just view it from that aspect. This is meant to entertain me because I don't have to passionately, critically, I don't have to critically analyze it. I can just watch it for sick amusement, maybe. Oh,
There
what a
you
sad
go.
little life I live. But at the very least, you know what? Fuck all, enjoy all wrestling sometimes, you know? Sometimes when stuff's bad, just call it bad. Like, this could still maybe be salvageable. You never know. If they cut out the meta stuff and it all, maybe this could work. But,
I
oh
think
man,
that's the thing that people are most annoyed with this is that they had such a layup that there was so much history to play off, and so I think that's where a lot of people were the most upset about this, which
Mhm.
is fair. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess they think it's piquing more interest. I hope they realize it's not because I don't I don't think I've met one person who's really into this. So we'll
No.
see. But yeah, regardless, I got this continuing with Randy Orton as their new corporate champion.
Yeah, I think there's a distinct difference between not being excited versus being actively turned off. And I think it's doing more of the latter than the former here. But I'm not being turned off by night two. I mean, this looks like a pretty good card. Uh, Oba Femi taking on Barack Polish Joe Lesnar. Uh, it seems like this is getting the most universal praise. I mean, it's hard to kind of look at it at a Brock Lesnar match without the context of everything kind of mentioned the Janelle Grant case. So it's kind of hard for me to kind of turn that way, but it's two big, meaty men slapping meat in all likelihood. Uh, everyone's high on Oba. I'm high on Oba. I think Brock is winning this because I know this company too well. Here's the thing. Hear me out, Ace. They've made Oba look too strong. I could be wrong. They could launch a star. They could make a star, but their Brock has sold and sold and sold during this build up. They made Oba look so good. And I'm certain they're just going to drag the rug from beneath him, give Brock a win. So the ruler needs to overcome some adversity and needs to pay his dues before being a star. And by extent, we'll have Brock Lesnar on our TV longer, which I don't like. But yeah, I am on praying on a stack of Bibles. Oba Femi gets the win here in exciting sprint, short match kind of fashion with all these big power moves. I think they're going to do Brock, though. I think I just know these guys a little too well, but I really hope I'm wrong here.
Yeah, maybe I'm naive, but I do have Oba. I think maybe because it's opening the show. So
Mhm.
I figure they want to start off hot, and Lesnar, finally stopping this new force. I don't think is really the vibes that would be great going into night two, but they've done it before, and I'm sure they'll do it again. And if it's to be believed that Lesnar will finally, retire at SummerSlam, whatever, in Minneapolis there.
Yeah, it is in Minnesota,
Um,
I suppose.
yeah, I don't know. I just you're right. They could do it, but I don't know how you let Oba lose. So I'm gonna say Oba and just hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
But the power of friendship and vibes hopefully overpowers Triple H or maybe Vince
Yeah.
McMahon interfering from afar. Allegedly, who knows? All right. Uh, a six-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's Penta defending against Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and new entrant, sixth man, Rey Mysterio. He did not want to get retired by Gunther. He politicked his way out of that, and now he's in a ladder match.
Which is
At least,
fair.
which is fair. That's how I perceive it. Rey Mysterio pulled a Chris Jericho and realized, I'm not doing a retirement tour yet, brother. I'm
Yeah.
put me in this
That's
ladder
not
match.
gonna work for me, essay.
Hey, I like that actually. Oh, uh, shoot. You know what? How often do you see someone retain a title in a ladder match? How often do you see it? This is one where I'm thinking I kind of want it to be Penta to retain it because I
Yeah, I
think
was just gonna
they
say, yeah.
just got him back on track after wasting a year of his life after he came to his company red hot. My thought is I can maybe picture Penta losing this if he's then challenging for the world championship, whoever that may be. So I'm going to say Javon Evans, my boy, the NOG, is going to become the new Intercontinental Champion, not as a punishment for Penta, but hopefully Penta gets to go on to greater and brighter things. But I'm going with Javon Evans. If you put a gun to my head, get gun to my head here, Ace.
See, it's funny you mentioned that because I've got Penta retaining, just because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of title changes on this show. So I feel like they're gonna want to have one. Now, honestly, I think like you say, how often is a title retained in a multi-man ladder match? So yeah, no, I got Penta for this one, actually.
Hell yeah, Penta. Hell yeah, Penta. Moving on. For the WWE Women's Championship, Jade Cargill defending against Rhea Ripley. I was believing that Rhea had this in the bag, uh, because I want a merciful end to the Jade Cargill experiment. But then Jade Cargill beat Io Sky clean, and I figured I don't think they're gonna stop this experiment. I think Jade, whether it's with interference from her baddies or she wins clean, I think she's keeping this belt.
I don't see Jade winning clean. I could see her winning off some interference, but yeah, I don't see her winning clean.
Okay, you're picking Jade here over our girl Rhea.
I think I still gotta go Rhea. I don't know. But maybe just because I don't expect both women's titles to stay. Um, but no, I'm gonna go Rhea. I'm gonna go Rhea. I think she's the
Okay.
safe choice here. Yeah.
Good call. This reminds me, I forgot to ask after the Liv Morgan segment. Did you listen to or watch Liv Morgan's music video? And please tell me Brooke didn't enjoy it because if she enjoyed it, I don't want to give my thoughts on it. I'd feel too bad.
I did not. But I want to after this with Brooke. So maybe let me form my own opinion before we can text about it afterwards.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll just say
Okay. All right. All right. That's a good little teaser.
good little teaser. Watch the video briefly. If at this point, if you want to know what I did there. Moving forward, I am very bullish on this match. I think that this will have the right mix of action, the right mix of heat. Hopefully, it goes well. Sami Zayn defending the WWE United States Championship against Trick Williams. Now, here's the thing with Trick. Overall, I like him a lot. Is he a good wrestler, a good worker right now? Not really, but he can be carried to great matches. He's very athletic, and he has this crowd in the palm of his hand. He's one of the most charismatic folks that WWE's ever had. Sami Zayn, I think the reason he has this championship is because, well, it seems like they're going to turn him heel. So if you're turning one way or another, you can afford a loss somehow, some way. I think this belt's on Sami Zayn to get the best match out Trick and to truly launch a new star. I think Trick Williams is the new United States champion at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, Trick's got this one in the bag. I think this will be a good experience for him. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And hey, Sammy's on the show this year. He's not doing the fucking roast of WrestleMania this year. At least he's on the card again, I
Mm.
suppose. That thing's like selling out more than like it's sold more tickets than the Hall of Fame. I can't believe it. For that Tony Hinchcliffe thing. I can't believe it.
Maybe because they're not charging 25,000 for back seats.
I don't know. Maybe Stephanie McMahon's just not the headliner for a Hall of Fame. That
Yeah,
was
that explains it actually. I was gonna say.
poor AJ. Poor AJ Styles, I'm telling you. Another match I'm looking forward to. Here's the thing. Of all the WrestleMania builds, maybe outside of like Oba and Brock, I think this one's probably been the best. Dominic Mysterio taking on the Demon Finn Balor. Yeah, it feels like it's time for the great climax for this Judgment Day story, at least involving Finn Balor. I know there's been hints of Liv Morgan saying that she's the master of the Judgment Day, truly, not Finn. Here's the thing. I think logic says I should go to Dom here. I don't know why. It's a gut instinct. I think Finn Balor, the demon, will find a way to win this.
Yeah, if you're bringing the demon back, I don't see him losing, especially because I mean we haven't seen him now in what like 3 years, and it was a loss to Edge at WrestleMania, right? It was the last time
Yes.
we.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, you'd think that you should probably have Dom win. He is the future, but yeah, I don't know. I think with the demon coming back, you kind of have to have Finn win here. I think it actually works better for the story too. So we'll see how it goes though.
He's going to return, beat Dominic Mysterio, and call you a pussy. Can we tell that story real quick? I just thought of it.
Sure, why not?
All right, so this is way back when the pre-Brooke apartment days, I suppose, like way, way
Oh, yeah.
back when. So
Place
we
was
have our friend,
filthy.
Filthy Place, and uh, it was us, a few other buddies, but the buddy in question who's important in this story is our pal Mike. Now, imagine how I was kind of describing Braun as a wrestling show. Mike is just kind of like that all the time. He's just a great shithead buddy. I love Mike from the bottom of my heart. But while he loves to be a shithead, he loves his homies. He cares about his homies so much. So you're out on the patio. He looks at me. First, he calls your name. Hey, Corey. He looks at me. Hey, Schultze. Well, who's this? And he holds I think it was like a pop head vinyl of Finn
Your
Balor the Demon.
Funko Pop or something, yeah.
Yes. And he's like, Schultze, who's this guy? Finn Balor. Okay, but who is he? What does he do? He's the Demon King. Hey, Corey. Schultze, Finn Balor the Demon King, right? Yes, Mike, Finn Balor the Demon King. Thanks. Hey, Corey, Finn Balor the Demon King thinks you're a pussy.
Classic Mike.
He
I
did
love that guy.
so much groundwork just
Oh
to
yeah.
call you a pussy.
He does his
in the
research.
throwaway
Yeah, he does his research. You got to give him that.
line. Just for a throwaway line. He cared so
Yeah.
much. And that's what makes it funnier. God bless you, Mike. And Finn Balor, maybe you can call Dom a pussy after the match. I don't know.
Hey,
We'll
hopefully.
pass those vibes off. And maybe the biggest coin toss of the show, the main event of the main events. It's night one of a buy one, get one free extravaganza. I'm kidding. It's the main event of night two. In my opinion, it is
The buy one, get both for exorbitant prices.
You understand the assignment now. The main event, I always find that the main event of night two is the real main event. In my honest opinion, God bless everyone else who's main event night one. CM Punk gets his first real earned main event of WrestleMania, in my opinion, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Roman Reigns. Ace, your guess is as good as mine. I think there's a lot of factors that will go into who wins this match. Uh, I think just with the build and what we've seen and the performances and the promos of both these men, CM Punk has something to prove. He's been locked in, despite walking back the comment about Roman Reigns' dad being dead. I thought, man, that's like the one edgy thing you really said, and now it's gone. But I think CM Punk's been bringing his fastball. He wants to retain, and with Roman Reigns, I don't know if he's just half-assing it because he's not resigning, or if he just expects to win no matter what. I don't know what to make of it. I think CM Punk should win because a win over Roman Reigns will be a benefit to CM Punk as a star. And ideally, CM Punk could put someone over, whether it's a Braun Breaker or another young star, etc., because he'll likely be around longer than Roman Reigns, around more often than Roman Reigns will be, I should say. My logic says CM Punk should win, and he will win. I think if Roman Reigns really wants to, though, and if he really wants to be around, I think they'll just give it to him, though. But with the information I know, I gotta go with the Pepsi man. I gotta go with CM Punk.
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about this main event is that it really could go either way. Um, because I don't know, I feel like we don't get that enough with wrestling where we always kind of have an idea and then maybe they surprise us, but it's usually like you go in thinking, oh yeah, this person's gonna win. And but this is one of those cases where you really don't know, especially with some of the stuff that Punk's been saying for the last few weeks, where yeah, he does not want to let this go. Um, yeah, I don't know where I recently Roman just had a car promo on the drive to Las Vegas that was probably better than anything he said in the last month. Um, yeah, I think I have Roman. I don't know. I'm getting a little bit worried too, the way Pat's been talking about how Roman's gonna win too, that we get some why can't I think of the name? Austin and two-man power trip. Some kind of, in that vein. I hope that's not the case. I hope if Roman wins, it's just him winning either outright. Um, if Punk wins, I do think that is the more ideal situation because you're right, he is going to be there more. Something just tells me Roman. I don't know. And also I think you have not have to, of course, but I think one of the Rumble winners will win. And I see it more with Roman than I do with Liv. So yeah, so I got Roman for this one.
With a hope and a prayer and Solo Sikoa's thumb, Roman can win. Could you imagine if they did that again?
Why not? You know what? Actually, at this point, I'd probably get a kick out of it if just out of nowhere, you know.
uh,
Or if that's how it ends, just like every single one of the bloodline come out. We've got the MFTs, but I don't think they're going there anymore because they kind of kiss and made up and said, "I actually really respect you." The week before Mania, of course, not the week after.
yeah, we're
But yeah,
right
I got Roman.
back where we started. It's I hate you. That was the promo we got right after the Royal Rumble. What the fuck was the last 2 months? And you know what? Kind of heard it. Where was fucking Roman Reigns in the ring? Where was CM Punk in the ring since Finn Balor, really? I mean, remember fucking back when we were growing up, you'd have like these all-star 8-man tag matches or WrestleMania previews or whatever. And now it's like maybe 3 matches on 3 hour shows and just fucking talking and talking and talking and trying to find out ways to do new promos to say the same thing over again and talk and talk and talk some more. I was excited for this match after the Rumble. It went below. Now I'm kind of back. I can't say I'm more excited or less excited than I was initially, but man, Roman, do that in front of a crowd. I mean, not in front of your phone. I think The Miz said it best. I think it's like or a throwaway SmackDown versus Raw match during Survivor Series days. It's The Miz and Baron Corbin. I guess the Baron Corbin cuts a promo on his phone, and The Miz rightfully says, "Yeah, do that in front of an arena next time." Yeah, Roman, lock in. I like if you're gonna be here, be good. You know. Yeah.
Another one I missed too. You remember the WrestleMania rewind matches where it'd be like, I always
Mm,
remember before 22 when they had like
yes.
Triple H and Kane and Cena and Big Show because that was
Mm,
20 and what, 15?
mm.
Even little fun gimmicky things like that. They don't do those kind of gimmicky things with matches, I find anymore. So yeah, I think too, even correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure all 4 or 5 of the announced segments for Raw were just segments. Like none were matched. It was all like we'll hear from so and so, and Punk and Roman are in the build. So it's not a priority for them, which is what it is. I mean, we've known that forever, but
Mhm. Really too bad now. But anyways, that's WrestleMania. I'm hoping it's a good weekend because if we gotta be watching for a weekend, I hope it's good. But maybe the pageantry will lighten us up. Maybe we'll get some great entrances to really get into that WrestleMania spirit. Hopefully the crowd is hot. Hopefully the action's good. Hopefully these boys and gals have something to prove. And yep. I don't know. I guess maybe every now. I swear we should just have these conversations when the podcast's not opening. But what's your availability like after WrestleMania night 2? Sunday night or Monday or whatever? What's your availability looking like? Like I'll.
Sunday I am good. I would like to do it like right after. I have a dentist appointment first thing on 10 a.m. on Monday, but
Hmm.
I can be a little sleepy for that. I usually sleep through them anyways. So
Hmm. Yep. It'd be like, yep, just give me my bubblegum fluoride, please, and thank you, and let me slip away peacefully. Okay, so I think we'll probably be back here Sunday night, April 19th after night 2 of WrestleMania to recap both nights. We'll The best thing about WrestleMania week is that a lot of promotions kind of piggyback off WrestleMania. It's like the big festival of wrestling of the year. So there's a lot of cool events going on. I know like today, CMLL out of Mexico had a show in Las Vegas, for example, too. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's having a show this weekend. Today was the big March Hitchcock Memorial Show put on by WrestleCon. I think we can talk about the lore for that another day, but a lot of cool stuff. Game Changer Wrestling as well too. There's some matches I'm wanting to pay attention to, like 14-year-old Brody Lee Jr. taking on Joey Janela, or the Sandman's retirement match against the Invisible Man. So I'll try and keep my eyes peeled for some of those matches or segments as best as possible too, because WrestleMania is the main event. There should be some fun stuff around there, hopefully, too. So I think things like particularly eye-catching, we'll try and see what we can do for that as well, too. Other than that, Ace, any final thoughts? Anything else you'd like to add? Either the week that we experienced or the weekend we're going to experience. We've been talking about this stretch for ages now. Post Dynasty, pre WrestleMania, just this whole busy wrestling stretch. Are you just happy it's going to be over soon? Are you trying to smell the flowers amid all this craziness? Uh, we're almost through this banana stretch, and it's something we can tell our kids about, maybe.
I don't know about that. Yes and no. Because it reminds me like I really do try to not like wish stuff away. Especially like life's short and not to get all hippie, but life's short enough. So there's a lot of times where I'll be going through something and I'm just like, oh, it's a couple more weeks and I'm out of it. Okay. But it's I don't think it's a great habit to get into wishing time away. That being said, it has been a lot of wrestling the last couple weeks. I've been enjoying it. But I definitely am excited to at the post Mania world, kind of setting the stage for what the rest of the year is going to look like, especially with the podcast. Um, and just yeah, it's always you always get a good show out of it. So no, I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
Should be real good stuff. In the meantime, he's Corey Ace Trelaw. He did this show sick. He had his version
Oh
of the
yeah,
MJ flu game.
Jordan flu game.
I'm Aaron Schultz. I'm just sleep deprived, and I'll continue to be sleep deprived. This is the Cup Check Wrestling Podcast. Boots on the ground for the Indies, boots on the ground for pay per views in Vancouver. This is where the big boys play with each other.